Hello team and welcome back to the Football Social live on Soccer M and Football Daily's YouTube pages. We've got a massive game for you today, could be season defining. It's Chelsea versus Manchester United and joining us is some huge guests. It's all FD! We've got Saturday Social and Football Daily's finest, Joseph Tomlinson representing Manchester United.
Team Igalo tonight.
Confident today, mate?
Not at all.
Why is that?
Not
very
at
briefly.
all. I've seen the lineups. Not awe-inspiring, but nevertheless, I think it might be enough to get the job done tonight.
And we will get onto the lineups in just a moment. But first, let's introduce our debutant, Sam Obaseki. He's of age now.
Thanks, lads.
How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to be here, you know. Different environment.
What about under the circumstances, competing for this Champions League place?
I'm nervous. I can't lie. United are kind of our bogey team, you know. Our record against them isn't great, but Mitchie's up top. He's got to do something soon. He's got to do something soon.
His first start in 4 years, by the way. Not his first start, sorry. His first start this season and his fourth or fifth start in 4 years in the Premier League. So a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Of course, another Manchester United fan, Michael McCubbin, with How are you feeling? You seem a little bit more calm on this side.
Yeah, a little bit. Well,
studio.
I've got to be the kind of yin to their yang, don't I? So
I like that.
Yeah, I'm feeling quietly confident. Like Joe said, lineup's not the greatest, but we knew that. We know we've got a lot of players out, so just got to give Eric Bailly a warm welcome back into the side, I think, and hope he doesn't mess up.
Love that. He returns after a long spell, doesn't he? And rounding off the lineup, it's the veteran David Jackson. He gets a clap as well. Come on.
Look at the seating position. Look at the seating
What do
position.
you mean? I'm sure this is my second home.
Relax.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that was the weakest clap by far as well.
I know,
Don't read
brutal.
into
Nah,
that.
not me.
Pretty brutal, isn't it?
But Dave's convinced himself that his club are back in the hunt for Champions League.
big
We'll talk
time.
about Arsenal and Newcastle in just a moment. But if people want to submit a question, how can I get in touch, David?
Yes, they can get in touch via the comment section. So send your questions in or get in touch with us via Twitter, at Football Daily, at Twitter, at SoccerM even. And I will ask every single question we're getting. No matter what the context or the content, I will ask it.
Don't get at Twitter. I don't think they'll redirect those questions.
No.
Right, let's look at yesterday's results then, because there were some big ones.
Massive
weren't
ones.
there? Massive ones. Wolves-Leicester played out a rather boring 0-0 draw on Friday. Southampton losing to Burnley. Back-to-back losses for Southampton after they put together a good run. That goal by Vidra separating the sides in the end. Liverpool edging out Norwich. They put versus Tottenham, because no one wants to speak about Tottenham in the studio. No. Arsenal 4, Newcastle 0.
Yes.
It's about time you put 3 points on the board. 13 draws, David.
Yes, not good. But we are getting a bit of momentum. We've got a nice little run of games coming now. Obviously, the Championship's out of reach now, but second place is still on, mate.
All right, well, we'll talk about Arsenal in just a moment. We've got to settle the table first. So still rooted to the bottom is Norwich, Watford and West Ham following them in the relegation positions. Burnley propelled themselves up to 11th with those 3 points. Let's move on to the top half then. Because, we were worried that this season, Liverpool were just running away with it. We were worried how much, entertainment would be left come the end. But everyone's competing for those Champions League places. And now that 5th place has become a Champions League spot, if the City ban is upheld, and we will discuss that in a moment, it's back on for Arsenal. It's back on for United, who find themselves in 9th. All right.
What time to be alive.
Let's talk about the game then, David, who's just spilt tea all over his hand. We've got a TV flickering beyond him. It's going on and off every 10 seconds. Probably need to sort that out. Let's talk about the second half. The first half, not worth much of our time.
No.
How pleased were you to,
I was very pleased to see
together.
Arsenal play with a bit of freedom. Don't get me wrong, I think the Aubameyang goal changes everything because the longer that game goes at 0-0, there's more pressure put on Arsenal. Our fans started getting a bit antsy. They don't, start putting more pressure on the team. But obviously the big man Aubameyang pops up with a wonderful header. Another assist by Pepe. He's just in fantastic vein of form at the moment. So that's 1 goal and 4 assists in his last 3 games. So that is some impressive stats there. Expected goals is through the roof for Pepe.
The goals qualifier stats?
Yeah, big time. So no, I was very, very happy. First half, I was thinking this is like watching them under Unai Emery again. There wasn't much kind of direction, and I thought Newcastle played particularly well. But then obviously we came out second half, got the goal when we needed it. And from then on, there's only really one team in it.
What was the difference for you in the second half?
Well, we're talking off camera. I know you guys were talking up Ceballos, but I think it was just we were moving the ball quicker. I think we used our we definitely used the width a lot better. For example, we got Saka in the game a lot better. He was causing their left back all kinds of problems. Their right back. Pepe had Danny Rose on toast for most of the second half as well. So we had a lot more width. So there was more space for our midfielders to actually do more with the ball. So it could also be argued that was a very good tactics by Arteta to get the ball wide, to make more space for our kind of like creative players like your Ceballos and your Ozils to be more dangerous.
Yeah, that was Saka's 8th assist of the
Unbelievable.
season as well.
He's
he
unbelievable.
Squared that back for Pepe after nutmegs in Lazaro. Not
So
the
nice.
greatest debut from him in the second half. How pleasing is it to see some youth come through the ranks?
Well, we've always had a good track record of bringing through the youth, but it's nice to see there's a bit of a different blend now where like we actually have good young players coming through, but we seem as if, well, particularly last cup season, we actually want to spend some money to kind of go with the youth as well. So that's obviously very pleasing to see. But obviously, come the summer, it might be a bit different. But very, very pleasing. Martinelli, fantastic. Saka, unbelievable. Willock looks extremely promising as well, and obviously Eddie Nketiah started over Lacazette, so you can't really argue with that, could you?
No, you can't. And what Manchester City will be arguing with is their 2-year ban, David, that of course was announced on Friday by UEFA. And if that is upheld, they're going to go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. If that is upheld, then 5th spot becomes a Champions League spot. And that changes the dynamic for quite a few teams. Manchester United being one. It looked like the season had slipped through their fingers once more, languishing down in 9th. Admittedly, not that many points behind a retrievable situation, but 5th makes it seem at arm's length, McCubbin.
For sure. I mean, it puts it at arm's length for like Wolves and Sheffield United as well, which makes it
Put a bit of respect on their names,
yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely more possible now. But I think, to be honest, with United, the games, it's still the same objective, which is can we win 3 games in a row? Like at the moment, it doesn't look like this team can do that with the injuries that are out, especially with Rashford, who was our only match winner really, out for pretty much the rest of the season. It looks like so.
Pogba and McTominay also still out.
Yeah, so I mean McTominay hopefully will be back in the next couple of weeks, and that will make a big difference. But whether it means, I don't know, it's a difficult one. I think it's still the same for United. Before, I wasn't even that confident that we were definitely going to be able to even secure 5th. So I don't think really from a United perspective it changes that much.
Yeah, it's a bit of a let-off for the other teams that are having lacklustre seasons, isn't it? Let's talk a little bit about Manchester City. We went through it on this morning's winners and losers. But like I said, as it stands, they're out of the Champions League until 2022. Pep Guardiola's contract expires in 2021. He's told people he's going to stay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the players are going to stay. Sergio Aguero's contract runs out in 2021 as well. He might be, looking for a move. Wants to play in the Champions League, doesn't he? Doesn't want to wait till he's 34. Joseph, can you see the vultures circling for their players as of now?
Yeah, maybe not for Sergio Aguero. I think just because Sergio Aguero is the wrong side of 30, they probably won't be in the same way they will for Kevin De Bruyne or a Raheem Sterling. I think if the Champions League ban is upheld, they won't come back into the Champions League. KDB until he's 31, Aguero until he's 34, Fernandinho will be 37 when he next plays Champions League football. So I think maybe for an Aguero and a Fernandinho, you think, look, we might well have missed our chance here. I don't know whether they're going to go to a club that can win the Champions League elsewhere anyway.
So you don't think Aguero at 31 will be thinking about the World Cup in 2 years' time, about wanting to play Champions League football till he's 35? I was thinking an Atletico Madrid for him. No, you don't. You see him staying? I
can't see Atletico Madrid re-signing Sergio Aguero for the amount it would cost to get him out of Manchester City at 31. I think it would be I just don't see Sergio Aguero leaving Manchester City for an Atletico Madrid, personally. I think Kevin De Bruyne, who is in the prime of his footballing life and is going to miss out on the Champions League between the age of 28 and 31, I would be thinking, if I was KDB, I want to go to Madrid here.
Especially with that
There's
year
options
out.
open. There is options open. I had a serious knee injury. But then having said that, if you are KDB and you're Raheem Sterling and Pep decides to stay and says, look, I'm going to be loyal and I'm going to stay here no matter what happens, I think if I was either of those two players, just because of who Pep is and how fantastic of a manager he is, I would probably end up buying into that project, buying into that Pep Guardiola rebuild and not leaving.
At least for staying for that until 2021, right? And if the sentence is suspended by 12 months, that's a massive if, but it's one of the not likely scenarios, but it's a scenario, then maybe that will happen. Say you're Raheem Sterling, you live in the dream, you're playing your best football, you're still a young man, you still got 1 or 2 big moves left in you. How much you think he'll be pushing for that move to Real Madrid that was floated a little while ago? It was on the cards, wasn't it? He kind of seems like he's been building up a move for a little while, or at least his agent has, or the papers have, not so much him. But I think he's the most likely candidate?
Yeah, I think he'll cut out, man. Like, if you think about it, yeah. Because it seems glamorous now, Pep saying he's staying, Sterling saying he's going to stay too, but at the same time, when reality hits them, it's like, okay, cool. The only trophy I haven't achieved at City is the Champions League, and I can't actually compete for it for 2 whole years when I'm in my prime. You're going to think about that. If he has one bad season, let's say he does stay, he has one bad season, he's like, I'm gonna have to leave. If I'm Sterling anyway, I would
But even if you say that, but how far Pep has taken his career as an individual in particular, I think Raheem Sterling, more than anyone in that City team, has benefited from what Pep Guardiola's done for him. Yeah. Do you not think that you have to then show him the loyalty he showed you when you first arrived and how he transitioned you? Yeah,
I guess, but it's a tight situation though, because at the end of the day, he probably has his own goals that he wants to achieve as well. Pep's won the Champions League. You can't take that from me because you've not created me, but you've helped me develop so far. Like, I think it would be nice if he stayed, but at the same time, there's going to be Madrid calling, Barca with all the players that they're losing now, or Bayern even. He can go anywhere, and this is his prime, so I think he should.
Like, Raheem Sterling is 25, and wingers traditionally enjoy their prime between 25, 28. So for him to be coming out of that age bracket the next time,
I just think there's that connection with
the
Pep.
Champions League.
I just think
he's Pep's go-to guy, isn't he? What do we think on this side of the studio? Who's the most likely to leave in the City ranks before we move on to?
Yeah, I think with Sterling as well, there's a bit of a worry whereby he is pretty much the main, at least especially last season, but he is pretty much the first attacking name on that team sheet, isn't he, at City? I just don't think he would be that at other clubs. If he goes to Real Madrid, they've got so many other options on the left and right. Even at Barcelona, they've proven over the last few years that signing even a world-class attacker isn't necessarily they don't necessarily have the best of times at the Camp Nou. So I think it's a bit. I think staying at City at least offers him that stability of what you're going to be. You know what your role is for the next 2 years. Whereas you go somewhere else, that suddenly changes.
Yeah.
In terms of players who would leave City right now, I mean, I can kind of see it with KDB. With him, he's very much kind of coming out of his prime in the next couple of years. Gabby Jesus as well, maybe doesn't get isn't getting a starting place every week under Pep as it is. This might be his cue to leave.
Yeah, some players on the peripheries. This might be enough to push them out. Yeah. All right, talking of peripheries, there's been some surprise additions to today's lineup. So let's get to the lineup, starting with Chelsea then. Right, okay, so like we discussed earlier, Batshuayi is back in the side.
Man.
It is his first start this season. He's made 14 substitute appearances. Pedro and Willian also in that front three. This is looking very Conte, this front three, except the leading man. Apart from that, as is Sam, does that fill you with confidence, that lineup? Can you see any chinks in Chelsea's armour?
In the midfield and defence, I think that's probably the best we've got in those positions. The front three, it's unfortunate we've got Tammy injured, Pulisic injured, Hudson-Odoi injured, so I guess these guys are going to have to fill in. But at the same time, they've got something to prove as well, because Willian's probably going to cut at the end of the season. He's time to say, okay, cool.
Do you feel for him in any sense?
Not really.
No?
Not really.
You don't think he's of the grave?
No, I like him as a person, and he's got a good attitude to a certain extent. But at the same time, when you've had 3 or 4 seasons at Chelsea, Tammy had 1 season on loan and he's come back and he's already ahead of you, there's something going wrong.
When multiple managers haven't rated you, it's a little bit alarming, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just don't think he suits us. I think we've tried to embed him in with multiple managers and it just hasn't worked. So I think in the summer it might be his time to cut out.
Okay, well, time to shine now because he is leading the line. Let's
Yeah,
look at Manchester United's starting X-side. Okay, so the big news is that Eric Bailly's back for his first game in months
Big
after
dog.
snapping his ACL, like Michael touched upon earlier. Rashford, Pogba and McTominay still out. Lindelof is unwell, so that back three looking a little bit unfamiliar. Williams and Wan-Bissaka making up the five. Midfield pretty much as is, Joe. A lot of creative responsibility on Bruno Fernandes's shoulders here.
Yeah, well, there's going to be. From here on in, I'm afraid, for Bruno until we get another midfielder in the summer. And injuries are just killing Manchester United at the moment, absolutely killing them. Obviously, we've seen the big boys in midfield out, your Pogbas and your McTominays, but we've also seen players that would have got minutes throughout the season, like Axel Tuanzebe picking up injuries. He would have been a key part, probably would have started tonight over Luke Shaw if he was fit, but yeah, again, still not fit. And then the main man, Manchester United's real goal-scoring threat, Marcus Rashford, who is so key. I think you can see when he's not playing how much Manchester United miss him and how much Anthony Martial misses him. Anthony Martial is 10 times the footballer he is with Rashford than when he's not got him alongside him. I think he struggles, he looks isolated up top at times when it's just him up there. And he loses that ability to just bounce a pass and then get in behind, which hopefully Bruno will add, playing a little bit further up the pitch. But I can see Bruno and just hitting the channels effectively to get Dan James in behind. That back five doesn't fill me with confidence at all. I like Wan-Bissaka defensively, but suspect going forwards. Brandon Williams has actually been very, very consistent for United. Luke Shaw, not a natural centre-back, obviously, but he has done a job there. We saw him against Liverpool. Looks pretty effective. Harry Maguire always looks better in a back three. Did so for England at the World Cup to great effect, and I think he's just much more comfortable at the heart of a back three. And then Bailly, huge risk. Huge risk for him to come back after an ACL injury away at Chelsea. He adds athleticism, doesn't he? He's fantastic in the air, but he's not the most composed footballer, I think we all know. So Harry Maguire's going to have to settle him down quickly. And when you've got Bailly and Wan-Bissaka on one side, who neither of them are most composed on the ball, that concerns me slightly.
And like we've said, he's back for what could be a season-defining game now that fifth place is up for grabs. And, you know, one might present it as the Jadon Sancho derby. Whoever secures Champions League football, do they secure his signature? We'll find out from these guys after we go to Ollie. Let's hear from him now.
Ollie, firstly and most importantly, we learnt today that an incredibly brave man and someone who's played a huge part in the Manchester United story passed away. Just your reflections on Harry Gregg and what he meant to Manchester United, what he means.
Well, Harry was a larger-than-life figure. I had the pleasure of a few conversations with him. Outspoken, had opinions about football, and he'll be sadly missed by everyone at the club. He was a, as you say, heroic figure, not just a goalkeeper, but he saved people's lives, and but he'll never be forgotten at the club.
Looking at the football then and your team news, no Victor Lindelof tonight. What's happened?
Victor's ill, so he couldn't shake off the flu there, so there was no point taking a chance with him. And Eric's ready. Eric's been knocking on my door a few times, asking when he can get his game. Played a few in the reserves behind closed doors, so his last game was against Chelsea actually. So and he should have scored that game. So let's get the payback today.
Is he ready though? Because it's a huge game to come in for.
Yeah, but Eric's been working hard. He's now had 2 months of when he's been fit and a few games behind closed doors. Of course, he's not Premier League, so he's got to step up. He's got to be ready. He's got to be sharp. But I think that goes for everyone because it's the first game after a break. You might be like still in break mode, so we've got to start quick, and Eric's no different to anyone else there.
And how much can Odion Ighalo help you tonight? How ready is he?
Well, we hope we don't have to need him, put him on, because he's a box player. He can score goals, and I'd rather be 3-0 up and putting him on then than needing to put him on to put pressure on Chelsea. So let's see if he's needed. He's had a session with the boys yesterday, scored a few nice goals, so hopefully he can just improve on that.
And what's Bruno Fernandes' role tonight? Because it changed during the Wolves game, didn't it?
Yeah, he's that type of player that he reads the game. Where does he find space? Where can he affect the game? We want him, of course, attacking the opponent's goal with passes, shots, but also sometimes he's got to drop in and orchestrate and get the rhythm in our game. So he'll probably do. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He can do everything.
And 3 at the back, I believe, brought you success here in the League Cup. Is that why you've gone with that again tonight?
Not just. I think we've got a fluid back line there. They can venture forward. We've got the good defenders, quick. So it's for us about putting them under pressure as well, getting width, getting players in the box. So we went with the team selection that we did.
Thank you, Ollie.
Cheers.
Before we move on, obviously, all of our condolences to the Gregg family after Harry Gregg passed away. A Manchester United legend of the utmost calibre. Joseph, let's get on to Odsonne Ighalo then, because you've been talking about him all week.
Yeah.
You've got a body in. That feels like that's all it is. Do you harbour any ambitions for him making an impact?
Well, I agree with Ollie there. Hopefully we don't need to use him because we're going to be bringing Odsonne Ighalo on when we're losing.
Isn't it mad to say that, though?
Why? Why would you be bringing a striker on when you're 3-0 up?
No, but at least show some sort of confidence. You can't be saying, I'm going to bring him on when when we're 3-0 up and I don't really feel like comfortable to start him or even play him.
Well, he's only had 1 training session with the club, though. He only came out of quarantine 5 days ago, didn't he? So
I think that taps into the sort of player that you are, Sam. You need an arm around a shoulder, and you're not feeling that vibe with Ollie and Oddie.
You need to show some sort of confidence. Like, obviously, it's not the signing that you wanted, but you've got him now. And if you've seen him in training, he's not the worst footballer.
I think you're reading that interview differently to how I took that interview. I was taking that interview as in, hopefully we don't need to bring a forward on.
Yeah.
And if we do have to bring a forward on, it's going to be a penalty box poacher like Odsonne Ighalo.
Yeah, the plan A won't be going well if Ighalo has to come on. I mean, talk about backing your players. Just to deviate very quickly from Ighalo, because I want to ask McCubbin the same question. What about Kepa being dropped, mate?
Oh, it's deep, man. It's deep, but I understand it.
Are you finally admitting he was a poor signing?
Say the words panic buy live on air.
No, listen. I really did have periods where I rated Kepa, and he's had a period of poor form. I'm not saying he's the best keeper,
really long
but
one.
I'm saying that he does really remind me of De Gea when he first came to the Prem.
Okay.
And he's got you can already see he's got the mentality to be one of the best. But with his period right now, he's not really been doing it. So I get it. Like, Lampard's dropped him. Caballero's had to come in. Hopefully he does a job, man.
It happened for De Gea. I remember when we had Lindegaard coming in for a few games, and I have to admit, I was quite on the bandwagon of bringing Lindegaard in and giving David De Gea some time off because he needed a break at one stage. De Gea, maybe Kepa's just the same.
Now De Gea's been so good that people want Henderson back, so he's got a number 2 challenge in the throne. Ighalo, what do you think? Would you prefer Ighalo on loan? Was it a better alternative than signing Josh King for 20 mil?
Oh, definitely.
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 Okay.
My word.
So happier with how it panned out?
100%. We needed a short-term side, and if we got Josh King in, that's what, 20 million for a player who was never really going to be up to it in the long term, at least. Like, yeah, you'd much rather just get in someone who on a short-term deal, they can leave in the summer. Like, not a huge burden on the wage bill in the long term or anything like that. Like, the amount of deadwood that United have had to shift in the last 3 years, it's just getting Josh King in would be nonsensical, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Talking of nonsensical, David, have we had any comments
we
or
had a
questions?
great comment. Jose Antonio Garcia said, "Why does Joe look so jacked?"
Really?
Hey. So, you know what I mean?
Plug the regime.
And I've also got a question from Paul Lucas. He said, if you're Real Madrid and had a choice of KDB or Pogba, who would you go for?
Very interesting question. Taps into what we were discussing earlier.
Only one answer, isn't
You
there?
can't say it like that. Don't say it like that, because you're about to disrespect someone.
I mean,
Who are you going to disrespect?
You have to sign KDB if those 2 are on the table.
How can you just
How
talk
can you
like
say
that
that,
when Pogba is so good, bro? Don't forget what he's on because he's been injured.
I think he is a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong, I really like Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
You know I do. I'm one of his biggest advocates. But if the 2 are available, Real Madrid are signing a player to hit the ground running right now, and KDB does that more than Pogba.
Why would Pogba not do that, though?
Yeah,
Because he's not playing any football. He's not been playing football for the last 6 months. He hasn't played any games.
Okay, but if they were both on form, who would you have? Exactly.
Very tough. But they're not, are they? That's the thing, they're not.
Okay. So say
Pogba might have had a year out of football by the summer.
Yeah,
still
sorry,
take
it's fine. So say like the summer, and they've both had decent Euros. Then who do you sign?
Pogba 100%.
It would all come down to the price tag, I think. I think Man City would demand more for KDB than United would for Pogba. I think United are probably going to be looking for like 100 to 120 for Pogba, realistically, because they know that he wants to leave.
Yeah.
Whereas KDB hasn't shown that desire to leave. They are still competing for league titles, and therefore I think KDB would demand upwards of 150.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting, like you said. If we've been having this debate, post that 2018 World Cup, it wouldn't be as clear cut, would it? With Pogba having a great tournament. Pogba has obviously got, KDB's got a couple of years on him as well, so we've got to take that into regard. But who do you boys go for on this side of the studio?
I would sign
very
Pogba.
quickly. Pogba.
I would sign Pogba.
So very quickly, Pogba.
Pogba as well, yeah.
Pogba. KDB. I think I'd go KDB with Joe. Right, let's discuss some price boosts then, gentlemen. We have Fernandes to score from outside the penalty area.
Nailed on, that
We
is.
definitely weren't going to get odds for Fred doing that. The most shots in the league without scoring, I think, last time I checked. So that was 11-1, now 14-1. Bats to score a brace is now 9-1. Maguire to score a header. Old Slabbers was 16-1, now 20-1. Pedro to score and Chelsea to win in 90 minutes. So Joe was talking about on the way here, Pedro always scoring against Manchester United, so that could be a decent outside bet. Odds accurate at the time of recording, obviously, and you have to be 18 plus to play along. And we've kicked off. And Manchester United nearly in very early on there. Joe, I'm going to come to you for every Manchester United attack.
Yes.
Sam, you for every Chelsea
them,
attack.
so you'll be busy, boy.
And I'm actually going to watch the game this week because there's no footballer to entertain, and you guys, do your thing.
Yeah.
Right, let's start with a few questions though, David. Just build into it a little bit. We've been saving any decent ones
This is
up?
from Aaron Gonzalez. He said, who should Sancho sign for out of United or Chelsea?
Chelsea!
Is this the Sancho derby?
Yeah.
Right,
Chelsea,
okay.
100%.
Let's discuss the virtues of Chelsea and United then. If other teams are off the table, if this whole
Chelsea fan, he's going to link up with his boy Hudson-Odoi, and I genuinely believe he sees what Lampard's trying to do.
So when you say link up, do you mean take the place off Callum Hudson-Odoi?
No, they'll play together.
How can they play
Competition's good.
together?
Competition's good. Every top team has at least 4.
Tell me your lineup now.
It's
then,
taken
include
2
both
minutes of the
them.
game for Sam to be genuinely irate.
Tell me your lineup, both of those starts.
Hudson-Odoi. They might not start. I'm not saying they're both going to start, but the energy of them both competing with each other, bro, that's going to be mad. He's not going to do that at United.
We know Hudson-Odoi is on a big contract to ward off interest from Bayern. That is an awful lot of money per week to have sitting on the bench. If you bring Jadon Sancho in, because he's going to get the minutes, he's elite
But
now.
that's the thing.
He's levels above Callum Hudson-Odoi.
But that's the thing. If we have Hudson-Odoi, Sancho, Pulisic, and Ziyech even, that's 3 young G's that are under 20. You're not going to be playing them.
Well, I mean, what's happened already? Eric Bailly's looking like a liability. Joe, what's happened, mate?
that I was talking about, Eric Bailly and Wan-Bissaka, who aren't the best on the ball, are giving it away in horrific areas.
Why not?
There you go.
Nice little surge in one there from Kovacic. Showed a bit of initiative early door. All right, let's go back to the whole Jadon Sancho thing then, because personally I think it would come at the cost of Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Nah.
But would you be willing to make that sacrifice?
I don't think that would be a sacrifice. I think it will spur him on even
You want
further.
your cake and to eat it, bro.
No, they will play. They will play together.
Sancho
and there'll be good
cannot
rotation.
be rotated.
There'll
Sancho cannot be
No,
rotated.
he won't be the rotation
So
player.
then your other rotation, you're rotating
Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic.
and where does Ziyech play?
He can play in the midfield as well.
So Mason Mount, where does he play?
He'll get sacrificed sometimes.
Okay,
That's what I'm
so
saying.
Mason Mount there,
big
we
thing is
found our
Ziyech,
sacrificial
though,
lamb. You think it's Mason
There's
Mount?
going to be a sacrifice regardless, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to play. Do you get what I'm saying? There was a period when, even in our midfield, Kovacic had games sitting out, Jorginho had games sitting out. If you've got that many midfielders or that many wingers, that's going to happen in top teams. That's what the level we need to get back at, not just having the starters and then on the bench we've not got good enough players to come on.
So you think get him into the club and solve that problem later?
Yeah, man. How are you
Okay.
going to complain about it?
We grilled you there. I like it. You stood the test there. I think Ziyech as well can play in multiple positions, can't he? Joseph, he's certainly guaranteed time at Manchester United, isn't he?
Be our star player, wouldn't he, with Pogba leaving?
More appealing prospect than Chelsea?
It's not a more appealing prospect. I think
Financially, probably.
there is potential for it to be a more appealing prospect.
Okay.
I think
Talk to me.
If, if
days,
Pochettino joined, it's a more appealing prospect because there's a clear project what Pochettino will be trying to build.
And no champs.
Yeah, I think
That's not appealing.
Pochettino and no Champions League outweighs Lampard with the Champions League.
No, that's not true, man.
Do you think that Pochettino at United would get Champions League football after season 1?
Yes.
So do I, and therefore I think that if you're Jadon, you might be willing to sacrifice one season of Champions League football to play under a manager of the calibre of Pochettino. Right. Whereas there's no interest in Lampard for me. If I was a player, I think he's a legend. I think he's a legend.
No, but that's what I'm saying. As a Chelsea fan, growing up, Sancho looked up to Lampard. So he's going to see that and be like, I'm going to have the opportunity.
Do you think there's players out there that are going, oh, I looked up to Wally?
No, he's not the same calibre of a legend.
Not the same calibre at all.
If it was, say, like David Beckham, maybe. But it's not.
I disagree. I just don't think that pool's there for modern-day footballers who are looking to prolong their career. I don't think there's any part of them that are going, I want to go and play for my childhood hero.
So we're no closer to an answer.
I think he'll end up at Madrid, though.
It's a difficult one. Personally, I don't think either is the best option. Like, I think even like Barca or even Liverpool, we were discussing the other day, weren't we? Would be more suitable. But
kick out there.
Yeah, I guess it's a choice between guaranteed first team football at United. I think it'll probably also be guaranteed first team football at Chelsea as well, but there's just more competition there. Again, with Ziyech coming in, it just for me, it just feels like the fact that Chelsea went for Ziyech kind of means that they don't mind about losing out on Sancho, really. Yeah, because Ziyech is like, okay, you can play multiple positions, but he's clearly the best on the right. Reece James, man.
Right, he's going to bang in.
McCubbin, I'm going to come back to you in a second. Sam, what happened there? Reece James flashing one past the post?
Yeah, man. Aspie had the ball on the left and then he pinged the ball into Reece James. He took it past Williams and just swiped at it.
That's a great strike.
Unlucky.
Great strike.
That was a really good effort.
He's feeling it.
Kovacic in the build-up to that, injecting a bit of pace.
Yeah, he's going to have Matic
into that midfield.
That is what United don't have in midfield, pace.
He's going to have Matic on
pace with the ball. Kovacic is great at carrying it, right? And he's just beat 2 or 3 men far too easily.
Well played.
Oh, Chelsea pressing well here in the opening stages. Right, back to McCubbin then. We're discussing the Jadon Sancho derby. Yeah. Give me an answer then. I just think the two, if you had to pick one, I appreciate that Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, better destinations for him. But if these two teams are the teams that come in from big time, where does he go?
I think like Joe was saying, if Poch was to go to United, it makes a hard decision. Right now, I'd probably go for Chelsea as Sancho. Yeah. But at the same time, which team United clearly need Sancho more than Chelsea do. United have not had a right winger in about 10 years.
So true. Seven's available.
So whereas Chelsea, I think Chelsea need to pour their resources into other areas of the squad. I really do. Whereas United need a right winger. It's almost the first thing on. Should be the first thing on the top of our list.
Like you were saying on Continental Club, not had one since Antonio Valencia. Manchester United taking a short corner there before pinning it to the back post. Harry Maguire, who's of course one of our price boosts.
Anyone's going to go up to him?
About a nice ball.
Be quicker than that.
Lovely ball from Brandon. We're seeing some decent.
Come on,
Batshuayi turning it on.
Run, bro.
Wow. Is this the night, Sam, that Batshuayi is actually going to announce himself as a Chelsea
man.
player?
After 4 years and 5 starts in the Premier League.
Brilliant, man.
Right, let's just go back to the dynamic that you touched upon.
Great.
It's actually interesting to think that Ollie hasn't had to compete for anyone's signature based on his status, has he yet? Like, they outbid City for Maguire. No one else was really in for Bruno Fernandes, and Wan-Bissaka they overpaid for. So if it does come down to it, as in United,
I think the thing
competing
is
with Chelsea for his signature, do you think it is going to be those fine margins, Lampard or Ole?
Potentially, but Ole's status is masked by the size of Manchester United. Manchester United's...
Well played.
I know that they haven't been good, but they are undisputably the biggest club in England, aren't they?
I agree.
So his status doesn't have to be as good because Man United's is so high.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
But I think the reputation of United over the years, though, in terms of the amount of
well played.
Star players who've gone in and not done well, I think that does.
Little shimmy. Go on.
Sam, break down that left
That went maybe 10 to 15 foot wide.
No, Williams feeling it though. Kovacic again driving. Pedro coming inside, passing it out to William. He cuts
Look
inside
how
and it
excited you
goes
got for this
over, but
this
it was,
effort.
it was a decent effort. man. Come
Ooh,
on.
it was
Come on,
close, bro.
We speak about Manchester United being a team here who are looking to break quickly, but actually it's Chelsea that have done it 2 or 3 times now. That was from the edge of
Kovacic
Chelsea's
is the
box.
key. Kovacic is the key, man.
And just to go back to what you were saying, McCubbin, how big a factor do you think that's going to be, Jackson? You know, seeing the likes of Di Maria fail at Manchester United.
Oh,
no.
my gosh.
No, N'Golo.
Kante is injured.
big development on the pitch. Who's down on the ground, Sam?
Kante, man. And he doesn't even look, like, he's not smiling at all, bro.
He's not someone who goes down, is he?
he's
No,
not- he's not saying
that's the sort of position when you know a player sits like that. you think
he's
gonna-
not.
The slump.
done.
Please,
Barkley's warming up, so
While he's coming on, he's going to the DM.
This is like great for Arsenal.
And we brought the conversation back to Arsenal.
So, there's a great comment from Bob Dave who said, "Don't go arguing with Joe. He's an FD god. No one argued with Joseph. Fact."
every day of the week.
Next question is from Nick Asparadras.
Yeah, nailed it.
He has said, "Do you think Chelsea will struggle against Bayern?" He's a Bayern fan, by the way.
Okay, interesting. While Kante is down and out, let's discuss Chelsea's Champions League hopes. Can you see them getting past the Bavarians? Of course, not as strong as maybe years gone by under Hansi Flick.
I mean, I think it kind of depends on whether a player like Kante can come back in for the for the first
Massive
leg.
for
To
them,
be
isn't
honest,
it?
I mean, I think Kovacic as well has been huge for them in the Champions League this year. Been so good as he playing like he has done in the opening stages tonight. But yeah, that's a worry, man. If Kante's out for the next few weeks, then that could really jeopardise their chances against Bayern. I think I fancy them. They could. I mean, I fancy them to have a go. I think Bayern are clear favourites, just because they have been in very good form recently. But yeah, I wouldn't be too confident. I was a Chelsea fan.
So who's come on for him?
I don't know.
I think it'd be Ross.
No.
Maybe Ross Barkley.
Hopefully Mount. But hey, Gilmore's coming up though. Don't get it twisted. Billy Gilmore, baller.
Billy who?
Gilmore, baller.
Mason Mount coming
It's
on.
Mason
Yeah,
Mount.
I don't mind that. I'd rather him.
So where is this going to happen? Kovacic is now going to go deeper,
Or
Georgie.
Georgie.
But that's a shame because Kovacic's first 10 minutes has been
Yeah.
the
I
progressor.
don't
Been
think
having a great
it
game.
probably will be Jorginho, won't it? Because he's put up very good defensive numbers this season. He's the more naturally.
But Kovacic isn't going to be able to play that high.
The
is he?
deeper player out of the
up in
two.
there now.
Mason Mount's also got it in him to play a more central role than an attacking role. But yeah, it's probably going to be
I'd just rather him come on than Barkley.
Jorginho deepest. Okay, well. I hear that Mino Raiola has released a statement as this game's kicked off on Paul
Come
Pogba,
on, Mino.
saying
What's he
that
saying
Why
now?
now?
he is not property and Ollie cannot treat him as such. So another little dig there.
Mino is another potential reason that I wouldn't sign him if I was Madrid. By
It
the
didn't
way.
put you off Haaland though, right?
No, if I was Real Madrid, Mino Raiola would be
if
a
you were
problem.
different
If I
club,
were, you
okay.
know, we're talking about that debate of KDB versus Pogba. Mino would, he is an issue for wherever he's at. He's an issue.
But that's probably the one.
Fred!
Another shot off target.
That was on target.
But do you not think Real Madrid's the one place in top tier football where it's acceptable for your profile to be bigger than the
maybe.
club's needs?
Maybe, but Mino is clearly a bit of a problem for Manchester United. I don't know whether he is elsewhere, but stuff going on behind the scenes, isn't there?
And
Every day he's releasing
It's
statements.
only really happening at United though. Did we hear this stuff when he was at Juve?
No,
Let's be
but
honest.
he
But
did,
like
he did cut out Juve
the treatment of Pogba at United.
I've actually got the full statement.
Oh, okay.
Jump
We're
through
going to
now.
go over to Jackson for the full
After this
statement.
jump.
Oh, he's going
It
to bang
was
it.
Mason Mount that came on, by the way, even though it was Ross Barkley warming up. And Chelsea clear the corner after a wayward shot by Williams.
So I'm going to try to read this. Paul is not
Oh,
mine and for sure not Solskjaer's property. Paul is Paul Pogba. You cannot own a human being already for a long time in the UK or anywhere else. I hope Solskjaer did not want to suggest that Paul is his prisoner. But
Okay.
before Solskjaer makes comments about things, I say he should inform himself better about the content of what has been said. I am a free citizen who can think and express my thoughts. Until now, I was maybe too nice to him. Solskjaer should just remember things that he said in the summer to Paul. Final bit. I think Solskjaer may be frustrated for different reasons and is now mixing up some issues. I think that Solskjaer has other things to worry about. At least if I was him, I would.
That is some.
So a little bit more.
There's a lot going on there.
That's
There's
a lot going on.
But not a lot of mention of Manchester United,
No.
more of Ollie. And again, does this... It's like death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it? Does this damage his credentials in the eyes of top players who want to... you know, who he's trying to convince to be part of the Manchester United
100%,
project, Joe?
100%.
Are you just... Is
man.
Ollie's
Come
time,
on.
is Ollie's shelf life up?
Let's be honest. The last few players that you've had that have been of that calibre, they've not really left on good terms.
Yeah,
Sanchez,
but do you think that's the fault of
Pogba's on the way
Solskjaer?
out.
You saying that's the fault of Solskjaer?
Not the fault of Solskjaer, but there's obviously something wrong.
Yeah, but we're just talking about that statement being specifically targeted at Solskjaer. It's not his fault that Di Maria left. He wasn't even at the club.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of it's awful for Ollie obviously to hear that while he's trying to rebuild the squad and he does need to convince players to kind of buy into this new vision for Manchester United. Who are on the attack,
Great
but
ball
that
in.
cross
I think
from
the
Dan
whole
James just
thing
goes
with Man
wide.
United, Pogba, they seem to go separate ways now.
Yeah,
It's
just
like-
do
it's
it.
like-
It's getting toxic, isn't it? It's getting really
the thing is,
poisonous,
if you're Man United, just get as much money as you can from the summer. Let him just go to whatever club. That's it. Done.
Rudiger does well there, blocked him off.
Ollie's kind of vulnerable right now for people to be calling him out in public. It does feel like preconceived, doesn't it? Like it's going to be another thing that edges Pogba closer to the exit door. I suppose we should just be talking about where he's going to go as opposed to when he's going to go or if he's going to go. Do we just think it's as simple as Real Madrid?
No. Juventus are going to win it as well.
Of course, yeah, heavily linked with a return to Juve. He referenced it as his home, didn't he? His football home not long ago.
Yeah, but didn't he say that about United when he's going to go back to it?
He said that about everybody.
I think it's got. If I was Pogba, it's got to be Real.
Well played.
You can't just take. I mean, Juve's not necessarily a step back because obviously, in terms of their success over the last few years, far outweighs United's. But yeah, you've got to go for Real. You've got to go for Real.
Michael McCubbin says he's got to go to Real, and Joe there just sniggering at Batshuayi falling over, bless him.
Yeah.
You know he's going to score tonight now.
1-1, Batshuayi and Igalo. The absolute scenes in this studio. How impressed have you been with Chelsea's start, Sam? Because largely a dominant side here.
Yeah, nice, good, man. We just need to do something with it. The Kante coming off has kind of ruined our rhythm, I can't lie. But we're looking stronger, so I can't complain, really. Can't complain.
Well, you've looked more threatening, right? But apparently Manchester United have had 60% possession, so I mean, a lot of it has been meaningless. Yeah. Joe?
I'm pretty happy with how United have started.
Yeah,
They've had that
solid.
one good chance that just clipped past the post from Reece James. But I think United actually look fairly settled at the moment. I don't think I've seen a clear-cut chance from Chelsea unless I was missing something. But United will be pretty happy.
Well played, James. Well played.
Okay, it's a little bit of attrition at the moment. Both sides are still feeling each other out in the first 15 minutes. Get your comments in so David can read them out. OK, so we had Paul Pogba to Real Madrid here. Juventus or Real Madrid on this side of the studio?
Real.
Has to be.
Yeah, has to be.
Wow, Wan-Bissaka!
Come on.
Unless
Let's
Pep
capitalise
Guardiola goes to Juventus, that changes things dramatically, doesn't it? I imagine a lot of players will want to go to Turin then. What happened there with Wan-Bissaka, Joe?
Just pass it to the Chelsea player.
OK, mate. Great.
He sounded really upset.
You're not going to be able to watch the game and not say anything.
The right side has been a problem.
Don't ref.
What is this ref looking at? That would have gone to VAR, surely. Pulled him down.
He didn't pull him down. That was poor defence.
But yeah, Wan-Bissaka just slightly suspect on the ball, isn't he? But how this was not given as a foul, I do not know.
Where was the pull?
In
Where
his
was the
left
pull?
arm.
No, he expected contact and nothing happened.
I haven't seen much of Bruno Fernandes, to be honest.
I'm going to need you to call these biased remarks. I'm
do you
going
mean?
to need some help.
This is what we need. We need the bias. I mean, this is...
Quicker, and the man you match is so slow.
I'm still shocked that you man even bought him. I can't even lie.
Yeah, good 6
What,
months.
Wan-Bissaka?
No, Matic.
Oh, Matic, OK. I mean, he was a sizable sum as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Who's been... Joe, who you been most disappointed with in the last 3 or 4 years, signing-wise? Who do you want more?
There's a few.
That's a loaded question for a United fan at the moment, but who did you just expect more of?
Who did I expect the most disappointing? Probably Paul Pogba.
Really? Not Sanchez, bro. You really going to say Pogba over Sanchez?
No, Pogba, yeah. Pogba. But, like, just disappointing
there was
because
a general
he
consensus
was like
for FD
24 or 23. How old was he when he signed? About 24.
23, yeah.
And he was, like, about to hit his absolute prime, probably the world's best midfielder at the time. Joined and he gave us such like the quotes he was given are so brilliant. He's just the injuries and hasn't quite gone his way, has it?
Yeah.
But I was like,
Good challenge.
not necessarily by any fault of his,
Yeah.
but it's just not really quite settled. And I was expecting higher ceiling from him than Sanchez. And he was 31 when he joined.
In your defence, Sanchez-wise, on Sunday Vibes, we were concerned with how much football Sanchez had played prior to that move, and he was actually not great at Arsenal for the last 6 months, was he?
Sanchez, yeah.
So same question to you, Mike. Who's disappointed you in the modern era?
I'm gonna give that to
There's a
Mark.
few, I mean, Paul Pogba in terms of, he was supposed to fix a lot of problems, wasn't he? I think maybe a bit too much pressure, and he's still clearly been a player over the last few years. So I think it would be a bit harsh to say him personally. I think even someone like Eric Bailly, I remember being buzzing when we signed him. He looked really good at Villarreal.
Really hot property, wasn't he?
Yeah, like great ball playing defender, pacey, he can bring out from the back and whatnot, go past players. He just looked like the kind of defender that we needed at the time. And after about 12 months, it started to appear like that wasn't the player who we'd signed, or at least he'd regressed in a certain way. So that was a bit of a sad one. Just a few from the start of
Di Maria was a sad one.
Di Maria as well. I think Mkhitaryan as well. I was buzzing about. There's a lot. There's a lot of signings who looked very good when we signed them and seemed to make sense, especially at the start of the Mourinho era. I thought there was a lot of what seemed to be smart business going on, and
a little bit more
and for
coherent.
whatever reason, they just didn't work.
I feel like Di Maria was the right player, wrong time, playing under Van Gaal, because I mean he has just gone on to be absolutely superb for PSG. One down season in there, but this year looks great and has looked great in Europe as well.
He's played more minutes than anyone else for him.
Which is crazy, and it's reassuring, when a guy like Tuchel marks you as his favourite. Good ball. Manchester United on the attack here. Joseph.
Go on, Tony.
Oh, good block.
Shouldn't
there.
be shooting there though. Got to be looking to pick a man out.
Go on, use your left.
Got to be looking to pick a man out.
Jackson, quick question for you. Out of these sides, who do you take for Arsenal? One player each.
What, from one player from United, one player from Chelsea?
That's filthy.
Nasty.
From Maguire.
We'll come back.
That's filthy from Maguire.
Others livid.
I'd have to see that
That
again.
is disgusting.
What are you talking
He
about?
cleared it, and then he just kept his foot up while Mitchie was coming into him. That's disgusting.
Is Maguire that sort of player?
He was laughing when he got up. I don't
The
think
bench were
Maguire
literally
did that.
laughing with him.
No, that was a bit nuts. I can't.
No, but I
lie.
really appreciate you trying to create drama.
Yeah,
Because that's what we need on this show. Love that.
Nah, there's nothing in that
Right.
at
I
all.
need to see the slow-mo replay.
Missy's shaking it off. They're looking good spirits. No.
Hey!
I mean,
bro.
He's not
You saw
looking
the
though.
little.
he's
not
taken one
looking,
to the
though.
twig and giggleberries there. That is.
That was a little.
This is the angle. His legs up, look. His legs
No,
up.
it's the
Yeah.
other leg. It's the other leg.
Hey, little kick out there.
Tell me that's
I
not.
saw Patrick Ewing get sent off for that.
It does feel like he's bracing himself for Batshuayi to fall on him. I'm not sure he's going
violent
straight
conduct.
for
Yeah.
the
He's not
groin.
cheating. I don't think
There
he's
are no
stamped,
red cards.
is it?
There we are. Done and dusted. Dave, who are you
A little bit
taking?
naughty.
I would take N'Golo Kante, 100%.
Yeah.
And from Man United, I would love to see.
The fact you're struggling with United. there, Jackson.
I'd love to see Paul Pogba, obviously, but I think it would come with something that we probably wouldn't need. So I'd probably Marcus Rashford. Young Marcus Rashford up there, up top.
You could do. Surely you would be taking like Maguire, something like that.
Yeah,
Just
I was
come in and
gonna
just
say Maguire.
solidify
Yeah.
your whole back line.
Yeah, so definitely Kante, and then Marcus Rashford to replace
That's a
Aubameyang and
decent ball
Lacazette.
from Rudiger.
Okay. Nice. Who needs a defence when you've got Kante anyway?
Arsenal.
It's all right. We've got David Luiz, mate, in there. We're back on top, baby.
Secretary is
Good ball by Rudiger, that.
Very good.
Dangerous.
Actually looked pretty confident against Newcastle. Right, OK, get your questions in, and we're going to have some quick-fire ones in about 5 minutes' time. We're going to enjoy the game up until then, because it's starting to pick up a little bit. We're starting to see some sustaed pressure
I've got a great comment.
from both sides. Go on, give me a comment.
Comment is from Bradley Bissett. He says, Joe is so salty. Oba gets under his skin so easily.
Oh, it starts and it begins.
No,
Why didn't you shoot it, bro?
All right, as soon as this goes out, I'll be
Mishy Batshuayi.
Oh, but what just happened?
Oh, he's off! He's off!
No, don't give him a yellow, please, man.
He's off, man.
Oh, but what just happened with Mishy?
Mishy.
He's playing himself into the
Poor
scene.
now, but to be fair, that ball from William was
it behind
kinda
him?
hard. Yeah, and it was behind him as well. He had to readjust. It didn't happen. It's calm. It's calm. I'm letting him off for that one.
We're seeing a replays of it now. Mason Mount puts it
Good by
in. It's
Christensen.
flicked on.
Just shoot though.
It's flicked onto William. No, that's not
Not a great ball by William. It's not a great ball by William.
Look how prepared people are in the studio to get on Batshuayi's back.
It's not a great ball by
actually
William.
love Batshuayi,
Bailly
mate.
just does enough, doesn't it?
Brilliant.
Bailly just does
I
enough.
mean, I say people, both United fans.
Oh man, he's feeling it though. I can't lie. Mitchie's played well. He's played well.
Okay, fair
Oh,
enough.
I can't lie.
Dave, any more comments or questions for us?
If this is to be the end of Kepa's career, who do Chelsea sign to replace him?
Oh, Nana.
Sam, that's coming straight to you.
Oh, Nana.
All right, okay. And Ajax have said that they're going to lose at least 9 players from that Champions League.
But why? Why are they going to have to do
I
that?
think they're just cashing in on them.
Okay.
Might as well. They might as well.
You know, with Ziyech, they said, you know, we kept hold of him for a year longer than we anticipated. They were quite happy to see him leave for a decent fee.
But that's such a big rebuilding project.
It
though.
is.
That's another 5 years until
But
they
they get the
to
space to
Champions
do
League
it, don't
quarterfinal.
they? They get the space to do it in that league. And they've already got really good young players coming through yet again. The name escapes me of Matthijs de Lig's replacement, but he's come in and looked absolutely superb this season. They've got Sergio Dest at right back. He's been fantastic.
I just think it's a bit depressing though that at least
feel like
last
they have
season,
to.
the best team from outside of Europe's top 5 leagues, that their whole model is just based on selling players into the best clubs in Europe's top 5 leagues. It just says to me that there's never going to be another team like Ajax that can challenge for European titles in the way they did last season.
Yeah.
It seems like they had one shot and then that's it.
I mean, hopefully, if they get fees the size of De Ligt for these players, and that sort of shores them up for the future, then it does make it harder to get those players out of the club. A bit like with Leicester, right? You know, after a team has a great season, if you set the precedent at Maguire for 80 mil or De Ligt for 50, 60 mil, then at least you're getting top dollar for them.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough, and I think it's good to have a sustainable model like that. Is great, but but Leicester, Leicester still held on to Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy. They held on to Mahrez for a year. They did. If Ajax are going to actually sell 9 players in one summer, that's just such a drastic. That
is
takes
drastic.
them back so many.
9's pretty unprecedented,
steps.
isn't it?
And even if it was 5 or 6, it would still be a huge
I think it's
amount.
only 3 from the first team. I think the rest are like young lads that are being shipped off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to other Dutch sides from the article I read.
But I mean, after parting with Ziyech, after parting with De Ligt,
he's in.
Frenkie de Jong, chance!
Let's go!
Misses! Oh, that was his big chance. What a ball from Mason Mount. What's happened? He's missed. This time, a legitimate sitter.
This is a fabulous ball
That's
here
a
by
ball from Pedro though. Oh my days.
Take his spirit, Sam.
perfect.
Pedro was in the middle. He slotted it down the line to Mount. He passed it to Mitchie and he just missed it, man.
Mount is
Going
absolutely
through his head there, Sam.
fuming with that.
Sam, what's going for the striker
Shaw's
there?
got that block. Shaw's got that block.
They're asking them silly questions.
What do you mean?
We got again.
That's a legitimate question from Dave. He wants to know, you're a top player. What's going through his head there?
I think he's just thinking about it too much now, man.
Yeah.
He hasn't scored a lot. So every chance that comes is like a big chance, and you can tell it's getting to him. You can tell it's getting
Pressure,
to him.
innit? Pressure.
Yeah,
He's
a lot
in his own head.
I mean, he's only had, this is his first, what was it, his 5th start in 4 years. He's had 26 minutes under his belt. Let's see if he can produce a little bit later. He is a prize boost to score the first goal, though. Gents, so remember that. It's on screen right now.
I'll get
That's
on
why
that.
he
I
scored
think
the
he's
first
looked
goal,
dangerous.
6-1.
I think he's looked dangerous.
Odds accurate at the time of recording, and of course you have to be 18 plus to play.
Brilliant.
Along.
Now, use it going forward.
Pedro and Kovacic have impressed me so far for Chelsea, Sam. Who's been your pick of the bunch?
Yeah, I'd say Pedro as well,
Yeah.
He looks like he's on it today, man. Even William, he looked like he's on it as well.
Oh, no.
Reece James is having a good game as usual. Good Aston. That's my captain.
That'll do from Wan-Bissaka.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting forward and winning a corner, though, Joe.
First time for everything, mate. First time for everything. No, that's good play by Wan-Bissaka. At least he's trying to do that sort of thing. Too often he turns back and passes the simple ball. So
You sounded so West Country when you said Wan-Bissaka then.
Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka. Good, my boy.
Come on, Bruno. Deliver then. Oh, it's Fred.
It's Fred.
You've been a suspect from corners this
Yeah,
year,
I know,
haven't you, as well?
my
Especially with Eric Bailly coming back. I can see an Eric Bailly header coming from this corner here.
Don't be saying my stuff like that for it to just happen.
Chance?
Accidentally. Oh. Good.
Rubbish.
Good.
Bruno.
It's not a good ball in by Fred. Send it back to
I
him,
want to see
mate.
Bruno on the ball more.
Quicker.
That's just...
Keeper.
Yeah, are you keeping one eye on that little narrative? Because I've not really noticed.
Well played.
Just whenever he gets on the ball, he just looks
Well played.
classy. Like I've not seen him put a foot wrong so far. He's not had to do anything particularly risky, but like
Doing things first time and quickly. Yeah. Nice.
It'd be better with Rashford that run.
Football.
of course.
Keep it ticking.
That's too easy, isn't it, from you two? That's the ball United are wanting
That's
all
pretty
day.
aimless from Jorginho.
With
It
the back
works out
three, that
well.
is so aimless.
Reece was out wide.
Pick a pass forward then, Matic. One of you. Pass the ball forward.
Joe,
Well done.
nice. Oh, lovely
Off
fight.
him.
What's Aaron James doing?
So not such a good touch from Bruno there, but
Right, we're yet to have a shot on target for either team, but stay with us because the game's just about to kick off. And make sure you get your questions in the comments to David. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to Football Daily.
Smash
to Euro
that
Football
subscribe
Daily.
button.
There's been a couple great chances
on
as
Soccer
well.
EM's page as well. There's been some decent build-up play.
my.
Oh, what are they doing there?
Oh my goodness, Chelsea playing with fire here. Jorginho putting the ball across for Rudiger. Well worked out from Rudiger there. Kovacic pulling out wide as well.
Kovacic is such a baller. I hope you don't lose him.
Incredible player.
I hope you don't lose him. I got a feeling we're going to lose one of the midfield this summer, man.
But it's Jorginho, no? Doesn't Sarri want him at Juventus?
Batshuayi's getting bullied out here.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Both fans very,
come
very
on,
tense.
Tony, that's rubbish. He's got to do better if he's the lone 9 than that there.
Big time.
You've got a bit of a problem with Martial at 9, haven't you?
Well
without
played.
Rashford?
I really like Martial at 9. I really like
Without
Martial.
Rashford, though.
Back pop.
Yeah, but Rashford's like probably, for me,
defender
one of the
from Shaw.
outstanding
was
wingers
good
of his
defender,
age in the world. So
Oi.
now this is
Lovely
where
from
Martial
Bruno.
is
Lovely from Bruno.
Drive.
Outside the boot.
Well played,
It's too
Christensen.
easy.
That's just poor.
I saw him
isn't
the
it?
other day as well, you
tacticism
know.
working.
Big lad.
Poor, really
Big
poor.
lad.
Big time.
Got to.
Going to come to you with some questions in a minute.
big time.
We did promise people quick fire questions.
See,
So
that's where
one
if
minute.
Rashford would just knock it past him and burn there.
Yeah.
That's what.
So why is it that Martial struggles without Rashford?
Because nobody gets up alongside him. Nobody gets up along with him.
Same mind frame. Like they're quick together. Like they're so good together. I can't lie. But once one of them is missing the other, Rashford had that period where he had the fans, everyone getting onto him. But then he just started.
Well,
They're just so much easier to
Bruno.
mark, though. It's like if you have two of them on the field, you can mark Rashford. You can put two men on Rashford, but then you're going to leave space for Martial.
Go on, Brandon.
Okay.
You've only got one of them. You've only
Go on.
got one of them playing. It's just so much easier to mark him.
I've been impressed with Brandon Williams this season. He's slotted into the side really well, hasn't he? Almost teeing up Dan James there. We'll talk about Dan James playing off the striker in a minute because I still find that really weird. But Brandon Williams, been impressed?
Yeah, really impressed. I think he's when he first came into the side, it was clear that he was defensively not particularly mature. I think he's defensively upped his game massively over the last couple of months. I think he's been one of our best players today as well. We're clearly a lot stronger on the left than on the right, and I think he has a big part to play in that.
Yeah, he
in
is
this game,
eating up the turf on that flank. Go on then, David. Let's get some questions fielded out to the guys.
Okay, quick one. Hold on, just see this chance. Corner for United.
Cleared. Too easy.
Bruno. Chance. Bruno!
Oh, could have been it.
I have a feeling that was 5 yards wide.
It definitely was.
Yeah, it
wide,
was.
didn't it?
But there was when he left his foot, I thought, no, no.
Might see that again,
Too
then.
There's a
excited.
question from GS7. He said, do you think the Premier League is bad or just Liverpool really good?
Joe, I feel like you're the
It
perfect one
is
to say
both.
this up.
Liverpool are unbelievably good this season. The rest of the league is really bad.
Right, that's it. Quick
in
then.
terms of
Nice.
quality, amongst the 2 down to 10 is some of the worst I've seen in the Premier
But
League.
who do you
era.
think's disappointed the most? Who's been the biggest underachiever so far for you?
I'd say City or Spurs, man. City or Spurs.
City, because what, they can't maintain pace with Liverpool?
Just they've not been good enough. Like they've looked so feeble at times, man.
They've still been a second best team though.
Yeah, but that's because everyone else has been rubbish as well. Like,
That's
City have not
a little
been
bit
good
harsh
this
on
season.
City, I'd say.
no, they've not been good. Like we wouldn't. If Liverpool were going to win the league, we didn't expect City to be this far behind.
Yeah,
Like,
we didn't expect Liverpool to be that far in front, did we?
No, but
25 wins and 1 draw, is it?
What is it, 101 points from our possible 103 or something? It's mental.
And they are clearly exceptional, but City have the drop-off from last season. Man City has been massive.
mad.
Okay,
So it's the defensive drop-off as well, isn't it? That's what's
And it
that's
has
what's
been
really
down to Laporte,
significant.
yeah, a lot has been down to Laporte, and having to move Fernandinho out of position. But having said that, the drop-off has still been shocking.
Okay, so the drop-off substantial, that's what you're saying qualifies them as underachievers.
Spurs, though,
I
surely.
mean, what about Spurs, Arsenal, United?
West Ham.
I think
wouldn't
United,
say
you kind
Arsenal.
of expected it though. I don't think
okay.
anyone was expecting United to be short. I don't think anyone was tipping United to be top 4, really. I think it was really kind of Arsenal and Spurs that were.
I was so confident
With
we'd get top 4. I was so confident.
So what made you so confident at the start of the
I
season?
thought we'd address the issues there. We need a new left back. We haven't got a left back. We need a centre half. Managed to get that. We brought in a player that I never thought we was going to get in a player like Pepe. And then we
And Ceballos, you brought in
and Ceballos as well, and also as well, like the way we ended the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, apart from the last 3 games, we were like fantastic the way we ended the season. But obviously, like the last one bit was absolutely atrocious. But I thought we actually addressed the issues that we needed to. and it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And now we're just trying to play catch up now.
It had to be Tottenham though. Tottenham bringing in Ndombele, Lo Celso, Ryan Sessegnon, just got to a Champions League final. I think everybody thought, wow, they are going to kick on, really going to kick on.
A little bit like Arsenal, they had an awful January onwards, didn't they? So was it massively expected at the start of the season that they wouldn't be struggling? I
think nobody thought, not a single person
but
thought that Pochettino would be sacked and they'd be 11th.
But I thought their biggest problem was keeping hold of players that wanted to cut, man. Because there's like, you can sign players and show like intent in that way, but if you're keeping players that are so dominant in the changing rooms and they clearly don't want to stay, it's going to have an impact on everyone's
Ericsson, that's a good point. Do you know what this reminds me of? Do you remember when Leicester won the title in 15-16 and the big teams really underperformed? And then they all went out and spent massive and sorted a load of problems, and then the traditional top six finished in the top six, I think, for the next 4 or 5 seasons. Do you think that's going to happen this year? Do you think the top teams have really got to sort out their houses, so to speak, to fend off the likes of Wolves? Because I think that if they have a big summer, they can close the gap as well.
I think it will.
Oh no.
I think it will depend heavily on whether those teams lose players to the big teams. If Leicester lose Maddison to United and Didi to City, and let's say Chilwell to Chelsea, then I think you could see it. Or if Wolves lose Ruben Neves, they lose Jota, they lose Raul Jimenez to another Premier League rival.
Is it going to be yellow for diving? Yellow for diving.
Oh, he's giving me yellow for diving. Willian getting booked here on the edge of the area. They're going to check it. They're going to check it.
Was he even in the area? It felt like he was outside the area.
I feel like he might have thrown himself in the area. Willian's body language not particularly. Doesn't look outraged. He accepted it very, very quickly. I think that's a very good point you made. We'll come back to it in just a second, Joe. Looking at the penalty now, it's outside the area, and he's probably gone over it a bit too easy.
There's definitely yellow.
Looking off into the middle distance.
Definitely yellow for diving.
No, but isn't there a thing of just expecting contact? It don't have to be a dive, but he was expecting
that
contact.
Was a dive.
Come on, that was a dive, Sam.
You've been really well up until now.
Nah, he was.
Now you've been irrational.
Nah,
that was a dive, Sam.
Okay, yeah, it was a dive.
He didn't need to do it either.
Yeah,
He'd gone past his man.
He lost the ball, man. He knew he lost it. Come on, guys.
He's gone past his man, gone down.
If you're expecting contact in that area, where else is he supposed to go there?
Keep hold of the ball, dribble into the box.
He's not going to go there because he stuck his leg out.
I think he's hoping that carries into the penalty area.
What a pass.
That was a ball, though.
What a pass.
De Gea just absolutely picking him out. Edison from the Spaniard. OK, so actually we might be a bit of a crossroads where...
Good. Well done, Tony. Come on, Tony.
He's in the area.
Tony!
Joe, what happened with Anthony Martial?
Brilliant.
On his left, didn't he?
Brilliant play by Tony Martial and Bruno Fernandes on that left-hand side. Fernandes, a fantastic first-time ball. Martial's in behind. Just open your body. Why he goes on his left, I do not know. Had to open his body up and go on his right, and it's a horrible finish. Really, that's probably that and the Batshuayi chance, the best chance of the game, I'd say.
There's something about the way that
Manchester
down there.
What is going on?
Oh my
What is going on there by him?
Come on, don't be off.
Bats.
This is.
Yes, that was outrageous. That was outrageous.
Eric has just sent.
What's he doing?
That is the Eric Bailly we signed in 2016,
man.
Little step over in his own box, sent someone for a hot dog. Not quite sure it was. But seconds after being dispossessed. This is what we like to see, though. A little bit of chaos. Fred and Kovacic getting at each other. We're seeing stepovers in the box. This is going to lead to goals. We want more of this.
Oh, why Batshuayi's touch let him down.
We do need a goal. We need it for those views, baby.
Oh, go on.
Oh, this is so messy. This is so messy.
Well played.
Wow. This game has been absolutely
I don't think either team know what they're doing.
People being pulled out of position as well. There's just not a lot of structure to either side at the moment, and you do love to see it. We want that chaos.
I don't know why we don't play Giroud.
Although there is something about the way Bruno Fernandes passes it, which suggests he is an absolute baller. So I want to see Ceballos pass it, but
why didn't he give that ball back to him then?
Okay.
Why?
David, let's have some questions because there has been a little lull in play.
Questions. Okay, here we go. It's asked.
Well done.
Yeah.
Come across. Don't put your arm behind your back.
Back stick.
Who was that? Shaw.
Luke Shaw, the left centre half in this game, popping one from outside the area.
What's he trying to do?
Not quite sure, Joseph. The look on your face right now pretty much
Shaw.
sums up that effort.
What is he trying to do there? Is that a shot?
You know, I've got a nice comment though. It's from It's Hot's Pure. It says Sam is the best.
Thanks.
you know,
It's Hot's Pure, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate
And then
you,
someone
bro.
else has said United withstand. Don't know their name.
Referee.
There's not much.
It's almost as if Dave doesn't normally do socials.
There's 0 questions.
Well, you need to get your questions in the comments below to ask Dave so he can ask us, guys. Come on.
Yeah, there's one question from Connor O'Riordan.
Go on.
Says, how many points will Liverpool win the league by? Don't care, they're going to win it. What's the point? Next.
22.
Thanks for tuning in, though, Connor. Appreciate that, mate.
30 they'll win the league by.
30 points. There you go, Connor.
25 clear at the moment, aren't they?
Isn't this the best points tally at this stage of a season ever in a
It's
top
mental.
5 league?
It's mental.
That is crazy,
It's
isn't it? Better than
unprecedented.
PSG, better than a Juve
Yeah.
or Bayern season from the last, 10 years.
And
That's nuts.
Oh, my days.
the redeeming feature about the
myself.
Premier League in the last
How
10
is
years
this
has been
gonna
how
go straight
competitive
through?
it's getting and how much better the smaller sides are getting. And then, yeah, Liverpool to do this, it's one of the biggest achievements in football. Now, if they went unbeaten in this era.
It is ridiculous. And I think we were talking about the Premier League being, OK, the top half has been relatively poor, at least the traditional top 6 have been relatively poor. But the bottom half of the league, I think, has been better in quality than it has been in recent years. We've got Norwich are almost certain, well, at least look pretty certain to go down. In previous years, I don't know if they do. Like, I think they've looked better in a lot of games than, say, like Fulham did last season, or teams that finished bottom. I'm trying to think of a few others from the bottom half, but you know, like I don't think Villa would probably be down where they are in seasons gone by.
Really
it's
poor
been a lot
from Willian.
Why is he just running across the
I agree with you. By and large, a good team is going to go down this year, and normally it's easy to identify a couple of people early doors, isn't it? Who do you guys think are going to go down? Let us know in the comments below. Jackson, you got a question?
I have a question from Twitter.
It's past the Jackson filter as well, so here we go.
All right, it's from @Envy World or something like that. Yeah, he said, #TFS at Football Daily. Do you think Man City's 2-year ban and fine will stand, or will it be reduced, suspended, or eventually overturned?
Oh, wow.
Did you see how many lawyers man came in with?
Yeah, it was like UEFA sent 3, City sent 9.
It was so Hollywood, that wasn't it?
Something's gonna change.
They are ready to go to war with
Yeah.
UEFA, and they have unlimited resources.
Don't worry, Arsene Wenger's at the wheel, mate.
Where are you going, buddy?
Okay, I mean, it's impossible to say to answer this question.
This is unreal football.
Let's go.
Really good build-up.
Got to do better, isn't he?
Such a poor game.
Mason Mount's been pretty
Dan,
central to it.
run him, Dan, run him, just knock it and go.
Nah, come on, that's really good, bro. That's really good, bro. Respect him.
Why not just put it down the line and go?
And he's picked him off really easy there.
Okay, I have a question.
Go on, mate.
For Joe and McCubbin. Dan James, beginning of the season, he looked like a fantastic signing. He's definitely fallen off now, hasn't he? What do you think? Do you think he was overperforming at the beginning of the season?
Well, yeah,
or do you think he's now just found in his...
I don't think anybody expected him to be a regular starter for Manchester United. He's done absolutely fine. I think Dan James this season. He's done above and beyond of what I expected from him in his first season for Man United.
He's supposed to be a perfectly good squad player, isn't he? And he's been relied upon to be a first-team player, McCubbin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. And I think, to be fair, I think we probably maybe underrated a little bit how he would fit into the system. I think he's, in terms of his skill set, it does obviously suits counter-attacking style. And yeah, at least until November, December, it was working wonders. And now I think we've just kind of seen him revert to kind of norm. Probably, maybe his fitness isn't as good as it was at the start of the season. I think that's, again, normal when you're playing this intensity for the first time in your career.
And he's playing behind the striker. I mean, you guys tell me, how has he fared behind the striker? I guess this has been a move since Rashford was injured, but that must be a really alien position to it. Yeah, for sure. I don't think he's necessarily got the skill set to play centrally. And also, he was playing on the left for his whole time at Swansea, and he's basically been playing on the right. You know, even when Rashford was fit. So he hasn't actually been playing in. You know, he's been playing effectively out of position for the whole time he's been at United. So should have gone to Leeds. That's how we'll sum that up. Who did you want to see come in the summer, or who do you want to see come in this summer? Who are you desperate for as a United fan, Joe?
Some midfielders. At least one. I think I would like Grealish, but I think we'll end up with Maddison.
Baller.
You've really fallen in love with Grealish.
It'll be one of the two. It'll be one of the two. Love Grealish.
Grealish or Maddison then?
Grealish.
In this Man United team, I think Maddison actually probably suits it a little bit better. I think Grealish is slightly better drifting out onto that left-hand side, which has seen massive success, obviously, at Villa. So I think Maddison fits slightly better, but I would take either of them. They're both brilliant players. For me, a right winger is absolutely crucial. We have to get a right winger this summer. Cannot go into next season with Dan James playing out that right-hand side. As much as we just said Dan James is a good squad player, we have to have a starting right winger, a starting centre mid, and then if we've got the money, I'd love a defensive midfielder as well, but I don't know whether that's going to be possible. I'd like to see Matic phased out a little bit more.
Okay, fair. I think that's a fair statement. Obar, transfer ban lifted. Who do you want to see at Chelsea? Do you want to see at the Bridge or Bridge? Just Bridge, as that refers to it now, in the summer.
We need a left back and we need another striker.
Do you still go for Chilwell? Bit of a dip recently.
Like, yeah, he's had a bit of a dip, man. But I don't know. Out of
Messi.
How are you going to be offside from a free kick in our own half?
Silly, bro.
What's Messi doing there?
What's he actually doing? Let me not get
Also,
into
you know, talking about Ben Chilwell. Is he got a short time left in his contract? If not, he's going to cost a lot of money.
He's got 17 mil,
He's going to cost a lot.
It seems a bit of a silly signing.
If he's your left back for the next 10 years, it's not a bad investment, is it?
Yeah, but we all said that about Luke Shaw.
Yeah, and if he'd stayed injury-free, he'd probably be justified. But
Get it in.
Wan-Bissaka.
Good ball.
Good ball. Come on! Oh no!
Come.
Yeah,
And some people were saying that Reece James is
The
better.
first attempt on target. Come on! Oh, Dave, can you
Look at that
put some
football.
respect
those people
on that
It's a
name? Stampede.
Stampede.
Stream.
Going mental.
What a header!
Christensen getting out jumped by little Tony Martial as well.
Oi, see ya!
William, shocking defender.
Who was it? Zach saying Reece James is the better fullback.
Don't get
Ridiculous.
excited for my
Unreal.
I'm going to retweet that later.
Unreal delivery from Wan-Bissaka,
Everyone.
who Joe was slating 20 minutes ago.
Sam,
Wait,
talk
header.
us through the defending there, buddy.
Christensen
Come on!
literally just got his head knocked, fam. I can't even lie, it's unfortunate.
Is it? That's an unreal header by Martial as well.
Should the physio have allowed him on, mate, if he had a bad head?
Yes.
I actually kissed McCubbin when that went in, just because we needed a goal. And I can taste the makeup. So,
Tastes good.
yeah, all right.
Just before half-time, that is a dagger blow to Chelsea there, Sam.
Martial already looking moody after that.
Tony Martial
do you think you deserve to be down at half-time?
No chance.
Sam?
No, we don't. But this is what happens when you don't take your chance. You
true.
can just
true.
capitalise on...
Just dominating.
Oh, I'm not
You
going to
haven't
get
been
mad.
that dominant.
Oh, come on,
You haven't been that
you
dominant.
haven't really been doing much, bro. I can't
We've
lie
had,
to you.
I would say, the Martial chance earlier, maybe not quite as good as the
It's not a 1-0
Batshuayi chance.
half. It's not
but
1-0 half.
Very good chance nonetheless.
Is this vintage Ollie away from home, Joe?
It's not vintage because I actually think we've been slightly better on the ball than Chelsea, to be honest. But for me,
I think Kovacic has probably been the best.
he's been the best player. Yeah, he's been the best player. But they haven't really caused us any threat other than that one Batshuayi cutback, which is a great chance. Don't get me wrong.
Christensen off the pitch during that, maybe a big factor. Maybe a big factor.
He wasn't off.
Was he off?
on.
Was he off the pitch? I thought
I
he
think
was on.
he was on. He was a
He just
player
came
who
on.
went in charge with Martial, wasn't he?
Or was that Jorginho?
No, I'm sure.
Okay, we'll get that clarified
Maybe.
because it looked like he was, but I could quite easily be wrong in the build-up to that. It could have
I've got a
been
question
a
for
clash
Sam.
with Martial.
This is
that
a
in fact
question
put
from
him off
me.
the pitch.
Why is he not playing Giroud over Batshuayi?
Bro, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not winding you up.
And
I'm not winding
I
you up.
genuinely want to know. I don't. Don't even start. I genuinely want to know.
He does value mobility though, doesn't he? Lampard.
Yeah, but at the same time, Mitchie doesn't do much.
Georgia
Brilliant.
Gray has sent an absolute fantastic image
Go on,
into
mate.
the Football Daily group that I can't. I don't even get it on screen. Let me send it to Phil. See if we can get it on
All
screen.
right.
It's
The
beautiful.
Chordlog's he'll get it up for us. Well, don't cut that out in isolation. That sounded wrong. Anyway, let's move on.
Lampard
47 minutes out of 48, and it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men are going to head in 1-0 up. Frank Lampard, of course, in his way. Ole still hasn't lost to Chelsea as of yet. A little Norwegian.
It's just.
They're
He's our bogey team. I'm not even
wow.
joking.
Nice play by United
I
there.
remember the days where there was about a 10-year period when United couldn't beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I remember them.
If this happens, we'll have beaten you 3 times in 12 months.
This will be
Stamford Bridge.
This will be United's
Crazy.
first league
I genuinely
double
appreciate
over
that
Chelsea
piece of
since '87.
That is great.
That's a great stat. Great
worries.
stat. Great stat.
Not even Fergie. No, Fergie did do it, I guess, but that was the last time he did it. The only time he did it.
I'm not sure Fergie ever did it.
Well, 87 he would have, wouldn't he? But before the
Was that
Premier
his-
era.
oh,
Second
dear.
season, maybe?
Do something, please.
Come on, Chelsea. We need a draw.
Come on.
Put him in.
Oh,
Todd,
no.
Please, bro. Please. Oh my days! Oh my days!
Time is running
hard
out
chance.
for
Yeah, it's-
Chelsea in this
that's a
half. I'm
hard
probably
chance.
running out
Let's
for
talk about
practice as
De
well.
Gea might even get a hand on that, you know.
Strike, bro.
Sam,
De Gea might even get a
talk
hand
us-
on it.
Talk us through the attack, please.
Pedro did amazing in the middle.
hard chance.
That's why I started the move well, but at the same time, just strike it.
He did start it well.
to be fair, that is a hard shot, but he's got to at least hit the target.
Yeah.
Strike
Yeah,
it.
you've got to drive it
striker.
more. You've got to drive more. But it's probably going side netting, though, if he drives on that.
But do you not take some heart from the fact he's getting in good positions?
I'm not. That's not really like what I want.
That's not a thing.
Where's Tammy,
Goal, bro. Good positions, yeah, but we need to win
Here he
this
is.
game. Genuinely, I want to see Giroud come on in this game. Bro.
Oh, it's half time, Sam. Thoughts?
Great half!
Great half.
Fantastic half of football.
Half time. We see the scenes from
Fantastic half
Stamford Bridge.
Breathe
And
it in,
it's,
Sam. Come on, breathe it
It's
in.
that man's
It's gonna be
goal
a draw.
to separate the
Sure,
two
okay,
sides. A
full
deft
facts.
flick after an Aaron Wan-Bissaka cross. That's why he has missed Chelsea's best opportunities. Let's have a, let's quickly reflect on the game. Let's maybe go to the comments in a minute. But
Comments.
boys, very quickly, how have you felt about both your sides' efforts in that half, Joe?
I've actually been pretty happy with Manchester United first half. Not been exceptional, not blown me away by any means, but given that starting 11, I think that's the best United probably could have played.
Okay, fair enough. Do you agree with that, Sam?
Got low expectations, bro. Like, I think our team should be winning right now, innit? But that's not the case. So we've got to go in. Lampard has to do a madness and say, Mitchie, if you don't score in the first 5 minutes, we've got to make that change. Nah, for real, we played all right. I feel like we're going to score. We just need to make sure the next goal is ours, innit?
Okay, fair enough. Right, Chelsea need the next goal according to Obaseki. What do you guys think at home? Should they be behind? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Right, let's take a question, Dava.
There's a lot of stick for Lampard in the comments.
Really?
Lampard's getting
What,
a lot
by
of
Chelsea fans, or?
well, they're just fans. You can't. There's one person called Sam Allardyce just saying. I don't know
Big Sam's in the comments. Welcome, Big Sam.
He wants the Chelsea job.
Of course he does.
So a question. There's one lovely comment here from Budgie1323 saying Obaseki's about to cry. Nice to see. There's a few comments. I've seen it a few times saying, should Chelsea cash in on Kante? Because he's been injured a few times now. This is probably the peak they're going to get for him. Is it now the right time to sell him, or is he too late?
I would never want to
Important?
sell Kante, but if we're talking about a peak time to sell him, I'd say this is the perfect time. Because we've got Georgie and Kovacic in it. But I don't want to see him go because I love Kante. And I'm just not even going to think of that happening.
How much before I tempt you to sell Kante?
Not selling him for anything. But
You've just said it's peak valuation. What's peak
I'm
valuation?
saying
Does
if-
150 get him out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
I'm not giving you a fee, but give me 150 and I'll take it.
150,
Yeah, fair enough. That'd be an absolutely outrageous fee, and you could probably put it
If you
together.
had to sell one of that midfield three, Kovacic, Georgie or Kante, who goes?
Georgie.
Jorginho goes.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
In full
I'd agree.
agreement. In full agreement. Because Lampard
Yeah,
plays in
I would as
midfield
well,
too.
to be fair.
Yeah, but I think I actually personally, having just the games I've watched of Chelsea this season, I can't tell you statistics or anything like that. I think Jorginho has been better under Lampard than he was under Sarri last year.
Yeah, but so is Kovacic, though.
Yeah, but Kovacic is getting more minutes.
Yeah. But at the same time, if we're going to play a midfield two, I prefer it to be Kovacic and Kante, because Kovacic can sit. He can also do different things that Georgie can't do. So, yeah.
Jorginho is a specialist, isn't he? A good question from Joe. What do you guys think on this side? Who do you sell in that midfield trio?
Yeah, I'd probably go for Jorginho as well, just because he's a bit older than Kante, isn't he, or maybe around the same age. But I just think Kante's I don't know, just a safer pair of hands, as it were, in that midfield. Whereas, like you said, Jorginho is very much a specialist. I think he needs a very particular kind of system to play in. Whereas, like Kovacic has proved, fairly versatile. Does a lot of like in an attacking sense, in the transition. He's very, very useful. I think you can have Kante and Kovacic play as a two as well.
Fair.
And you could probably still get a decent price for Jorginho as well. I reckon.
Nice. You in agreement?
I think Kante is genuinely world class. He's the best player, and he's in that particular position. I think Kovacic is always going to get you a goal, and what the goals win you, Chris?
Games, man. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I finished that.
So it would probably be Jorginho.
I mean,
Jorginho,
Kovacic has only just got he got 2 goals this season. I don't think he scored the whole of last season, but yeah, I think I'm in agreement. I like how Chelsea 1-0 down at home and we're already selling key personnel. Let's take one more question then before we line up a very special feature.
Questions are asking, who is everyone's PFA player of the season?
Oh, starting with Joe in the end then.
KDB. Kevin De Bruyne, for me, it's an award for the best player this season, and Kevin De Bruyne has been the best player
So not
this
like Mane?
season. No, Mane
Mane's
has
been
not been the best
unbelievable.
player.
The amount of games he's digged Liverpool out of.
Yeah,
I know,
for sure,
I know
but
they smashed it.
I agree,
know.
but he's been outscored and out-assisted by Salah.
Yeah.
So I just think
Against Cry.
KDB for me, the best individual player.
Wow.
Pretty compelling argument. Sam, do you have anything to counter that with?
I would say Mane or Van Dijk.
Ooh, Virgil doesn't get a lot of airtime in terms of best player outright.
Yeah.
Why do you say big?
Because
Virg?
you can't overlook what he's done for Liverpool. Like literally since he's come in, they've been a different side, and this season he's proven it even further. He's improved everyone around him. Their defensive record is good. They're unbeaten in the league. And you can't not give credit to a defence that's doing that.
People talk about Firmino as the enabler. I think Van Dijk has enabled the whole team to probably reach this level very quickly. Then McCubs.
Yeah, maybe a controversial pick, but I'm going to say Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Running things down that right
but
side.
I don't think culturally we're
He'll win
ready
young.
to give a right back. The
He'll
PFA
win the
player,
young players.
He probably will.
And, that's
but
probably cost him overall, but the overall award, sorry. Dave?
Sadio Mane. The amount of times I've seen him play this season, he's just fantastic.
What a goal against Norwich as well. Like I said, we have a very special feature lined up. It's part of the Heads Up campaign. Now, only 1 in every 3 fans in a recent survey said they feel comfortable talking about their mental health, which is something, of course, we've got to change, and we want to be part of that culture of change here at Football Daily. Here's a very special video on the matter.
You played through a golden era for the club. You won a lot. You celebrated a lot. But we know now certain individuals, yourself included, Paul, were having a really tough time. So that's the point of this, to maybe say things that weren't said at the time and look behind the trophies, look behind the smiles and see how people really felt.
Of course it's all masked. You've got to put on a smiley face, and behind the scenes, you know, you just lost all my money. You know, there's going to be a big story breaking in the paper next week about you with a girl that you was with 3 weeks before that who sold their story. All that stuff is on you, and you ain't got nobody to talk to, not a soul.
If you had a psychological problem or you were struggling mentally, that was seen as being a weakness. You would not say that to anybody in your group.
But you say if you talk to somebody, but back then we didn't know who to talk to.
You didn't think
wouldn't
anything
know,
was wrong. You thought it was the norm.
When you know you've made a mistake and you are going to be, especially in your case, all over the front pages, and you know that's coming, for your mental health, what is that like?
Oh, I mean, I've wanted to kill myself enough times through it. I mean, you can't explain because you can't talk to anybody. You cannot talk to anybody.
You want to try and find a place where you can go where nobody's going to see you.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
and
sometimes with people waiting outside the door and stuff like that.
Oh, I used to have people living outside my house, like living outside constantly, pulling up and just waiting, and you just didn't have anybody to talk to. Plus, then you're telling yourself, what a bad person I am. And then I'd pull up at work and I would literally go, "You all right, lads, how's it going? We all right?" And it'd be laughing and joking. No one ever looked at me and went, "Oh, you're not well." No one did.
So when you spoke a few weeks ago about feeling suicidal, compared to maybe '94 when you first sort of had to go public, the 2 reactions, how different were they?
This one, the one recently, just over a year ago, was worse because I knew. '94, I didn't really know. I just thought it was the norm. I just thought this is the way I'm built. I know I deserve better now. Do you know what I mean? Before
it was your fault.
Yeah,
it's all down to you. So all that grief and hassle that you get, you think, well, it's self-inflicted. Why should I get any sympathy, whatever? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
The second time, because you knew you'd gone through all that before.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, Yeah, because I still thought then, it's only over the last year, is like, I know I was ill and I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't bad, I was just an ill person. I deserve my life now. Before I used to think, I don't deserve that. Do you know what I mean? I've got a great job. You know, I used to hate, I said it before, I've only just come to terms with people coming up to me and going, oh, what a player you were. What a player. And I go, thank you. Before I used to go, no way. I'm not a nice person. You shouldn't be talking nicely about me like that. Now I just come to terms now where I go, thank you. But I feel worthy now. I didn't feel worthy.
What about for you, Perry? I mean, I don't want to just pretend that Paul's the only one with sort of who's had problems in his life.
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Absolutely.
You retired at 28.
I was just went and got, for a year, I just went and got drunk for a year. But when you look back, you just think, well, was you trying to, like, mask something? I just thought I was having a great time.
And then what do you think now?
I think there was a bit of masking going on, and then I had to go and work. I had to go and do what I call a proper job. I've got two brilliant boys, Lewis and Drew. I have to pay for them. So my focus then went into making sure they were OK.
What about the challenges in your life, David? You seem very serene, like calm. You did on the pitch, you do off it. But is that the truth? Is that the real you?
Yeah, more or less. You know, obviously I've been divorced twice. You know, so there's other stuff that went on. What Perry said, I wanted to get back to being normal.
Obviously, your career was unbelievable, but there were big goals.
Naeem.
Yeah,
semi-final.
Let's go through them. Is that
Semi-final. Gary. Yeah, thanks, mate. You only cost us a double.
No, OK. So,
Right, how do you feel now, Dave?
I'm still on one hand.
this is supposed to be helping.
2 years.
It's not bad.
So, OK, yeah.
No, it's good.
A goalkeeper's
though,
mistakes
Yeah.
generally hurt a team
then-
more. So how do they affect you?
But then they affect me a lot. Being a goalkeeper helps you in life as well, because you make these mistakes and you recover, and you have to recover.
To 2002 or 91, when you've made a big mistake, you feel like you've cost your team, how did you go about picking yourself back up again?
I remember in 2002, in the World Cup, when Ronaldinho scored, I was looking at the clock and I was thinking, well, there's half an hour left, you know, please, lads, come on, get me out of this. And I remember thinking, what am I going to do if I get treated like Beckham got treated in '98?
4 years later.
So I'm thinking this on the pitch. At the end of the game, then I just broke down because I felt I'd let everybody down. And then, luckily, at Heathrow, there was a load of fans there and they all started singing my name, and it was like almost like a relief.
I'm sitting here now and I'm thinking, my God, Dave Seaman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was the most laid-back person I've ever seen. He could fall asleep on a clothesline. Do you know what I mean? He was laid back, but all that's going on in his head.
Yeah.
And I played with him well, I've known him since I was 20-odd years of age. And I'm sitting here thinking, I didn't even know that. The main thing is to get people to talk. It's such a thing. And what I like about it and what I keep on going on about is this is not mental health week. It's not mental health day. This is mental health life. You know, and this should be all the time, all through the year.
And talk, I think.
Yes,
example from your career, certainly from yours.
I mean, you just talk to three people that are good friends who you'd think were quite near, that I've learnt, and we've all learnt about each other today, talking for an hour or 2 hours. So that just shows you, and we've known each other 30 years.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Perry.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Well done. Thanks, guys.
Great video there, and I think the overriding sentiment there is that they want people to talk about mental health as much as they do about footballer sentiment, which we support wholeheartedly on Football Daily. And there's a couple of hashtags there on screen: kick off a conversation and heads up. If you want to join in the conversation online, if you want to contribute, that'd be great. Get in the comments. Let's start a conversation there, and text heads up as well to 85258. If there's any issues you want to address immediately, that is a support line readily available to you. But let's get back to the game, gentlemen. I'm glad we could touch upon that, but the guys are heading out the tunnel now, so it becomes about football once again for the time being. You anticipating a change after 10, 15 minutes? Do you still think, you know, Batshuayi is treading a fine line?
Yeah, I just feel like he just needs to score, man.
He's going to get hooked, isn't he? Giroud's warming up.
Yeah, he needs to score, but I'm seeing Giroud warm up, so I'm happy about that. But I genuinely want him to do well, but it's just the amount of chances that he gets and the amount of areas that he gets into. He just needs to be doing better.
He's not come out there in that team there. I think he's probably been hit by that.
No, he did.
Christensen's off though. Zuma's coming on.
So must have been that nose.
Christensen's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that looks like Lampard's hand has been forced bringing Kurt Zouma on. I'd say yeah, he's pretty handy guy to have on the bench, Kurt Zouma. I don't think that poses any, weaknesses for Chelsea. I think he's been a little bit... It was much maligned at the start of the season, I think somewhat unfairly. So let's hope Kurt Zouma has a good 45 minutes, because in the opening fixture wasn't necessarily the case, was it?
Yeah.
From a Manchester United perspective, are you playing about as well as you could hope for, Joe?
Yeah, I don't think there's needs much to change. Potentially, at some stage, we look to bring on Odion Ighalo, just as a bit more presence up front.
You'd be doing backflips if he scored, wouldn't you?
100%. But more just for a little bit, more just a little bit of presence up front.
Yeah.
Because what we often see with Dan James is he works so hard. By about 75 minutes, he is running himself into the ground. And if not him, I can't remember who's on the bench, but if Pereira is on the bench, not the best on the ball, but again another sort of workhorse who's just going to do a shift defensively. I don't think United will change much very early. They'll leave it as late as possible.
You want to affect the game with your substitutions. You're probably looking to shore things up, Joseph,
just
with
do nothing
yours.
For now,
yeah,
United.
I think a little bit
Stay
of
the course.
That's a good indictment of the way this kind of game has gone. McCubbin, anything to add to that?
Not really, to be honest. I think for United, you have to just try and ride out the next 15 minutes, see how the game's developing, and make the substitution based on that. I don't think we'd want to stick for too long, because, like we're saying, there's going to be a few, especially someone like Dan James, a few players who are probably going to tire themselves out a little bit. But I think at the moment, you just have to see how the game develops, to be honest.
I think we've got the image of the first half ready to go on screen now. Actually.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I think we've got something on.
Please put it on the screen in the gallery whenever possible.
Oh, Sam, you're going to talk us for that one, buddy.
Can we get the game back? Get this one back on, lads.
He looks absolutely disgusting, and rightly so, when Joe Tomlinson's up in your grill like that.
Don't worry, you'll get the chance this second half, I'm sure, mate. I'm sure you guys will get the chance.
You need to be thinking about what you're going to do now already, Sam.
I just want to score, bro.
Do you feel like the goal's coming?
I just don't know, innit? Giroud comes on, we're scoring 2, innit?
Yeah.
Remember I said that.
Bold. Maybe we can get a price boost for a Giroud double. Who knows? A Sam Obaseki special. Let's get some comments then to kick off the second half. Get us back in the rhythm, baby.
Okay, someone sent a comeback from this is a great performance from Man United. Do we agree? Is this a good performance from United, or was it a bad performance from Chelsea?
Joe?
Not great, but it's been adequate, hasn't it? It's been enough so far. I don't think Chelsea... I think Chelsea probably... had the better chance with Batshuayi.
Chance!
There we go.
Oh, go onside, Batshuayi!
Oh, but that was lovely build-up play.
Man, Kovacic is so good in them spaces,
He is
man,
fabulous
honestly.
player, isn't he? He is such a good footballer.
Like, our forwards actually do him so wrong, because they slow things down, and then we have to... Man United get like 9 players behind the ball, and then we go back to our centre-backs.
Frustrating there for Kovacic to break a couple of lines with that lovely pass and then Mount come back on himself. Was that because... Bats was
I made
offside?
the wrong one.
15 yards offside, wasn't he?
He's becoming the whipping boy, isn't he? And probably justifiably
Well
at the
done,
moment.
Harry! But now this is what United are going to have wanted at the start of the game. At the start of the game,
He's done so well to win.
all United wanted to do was play counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
You've now got to come at a second half, and this is what you're going to see. United are going to have 9 players behind the ball, and we're going to have Martial and Dan James breaking and see if Bruno can hit them. That's all United are going to do now for the next 45. And often, it's actually come back to bite us, sitting too deep and playing too defensive. So I just hope we don't get too deep, because we've thrown away... I'm sure we must have thrown away as many 1-0 leads as anybody in the league this season.
Well, definitely not West Ham. I think they've given up 19 points from winning positions.
So
or
I
something
think
like that.
United might get a little bit too deep, would be more worry.
OK, fair enough. So you think it could play into United's hands, but you're not...
Get him off! Get him off! It's time! It's time! Hey, Lamp saw it anyway. I give him 2 minutes max. 2 minutes max.
So he's got to do something pretty impressive in the next 2
What
minutes.
are you trying to flick it there for? That's what I'm saying. It's like...
There's the ball.
Here we go.
Good ball.
Lovely.
Why didn't he come back in then, Dan James?
Sam, that's where Giroud makes it stick, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. It's just... Oh, my days. I don't even want to get mad right now. I'm trying to be so calm. But
This
it's
is
not
the
really
environment to
giving
get
me...
mad
To you,
at.
Sam, you have a good track record with calling the next substitution, so I wouldn't be surprised if in
Right,
the next 5
No, I see it coming. But you know what I was going to say earlier, yeah? United have been very lucky. The ref has busted them on 2 occasions.
Well done, Brandon.
Oi!
Referee.
If anything, Williams is going to give way for it.
I think Williams has actually hurt himself there in that tackle.
Chelsea have been working it well out of defence.
Wow.
Straight out. Curse of the commentator there, but Like when the ball gets to Jorginho or Kovacic, they're so good in those little tight spaces, aren't they?
They move so well.
But the forward personnel let them down, like you said.
It's so annoying, man. It's like genuinely, we need some reinforcements.
Oh
ASAP.
no.
Go on him.
Eric. It's so Eric, isn't
Well,
it?
that's well dealt with by Luke Shaw. Really. Oh,
That's what I want, Brandon. Put him under.
Vicious, that.
Oh,
My God.
it's become a little.
that was some of the league
We've
stuff.
seen a
wasn't
little
it?
bit of Pulis ball there from Manchester United. A perfect time after Brandon Williams waxed that out to get in the comments.
Well played.
Yeah, it's a comment from Dan Smith saying Glazer's out. I don't know who's having a go at them, but Blondes and Smart has said who will be relegated and why. That's just for the
Interesting. So we
group.
had this conversation earlier. We asked you guys to submit who you thought was getting relegated. So we'll read some of them out in a moment if they are in the comments. McCubbin, who's getting relegated?
I think you've got to say Norwich first and foremost, don't you? Unfortunately, I think they're going down. I don't know. I need to have a look at the bottom of the table again because I feel like
Watford, Villa, Bournemouth.
Well played.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so from that, I feel like
Brilliant.
Bournemouth probably are the most in danger.
Like I'm
Brilliant.
might annoy
Freddie,
a few
brilliant.
Bournemouth fans, but I don't. They're not a Premier League
Oh,
club.
what a ball.
Well, I mean, I'd say that's harsh considering what they've achieved in the last few years. But
But
I just
imagine
think,
having a Leeds in the place
Yeah.
of Bournemouth. It adds so much more flavour.
oh, of course, yeah. I mean, is this who we want to see go down, or
A little
who
bit.
we-
I'm being a little bit harsh
I think
now,
the thing
but-
is with Bournemouth as well. I think out of most of the other teams who are kind of in and around that area,
Yeah.
I think we've seen
Wow, we can't let that happen,
at least moments,
Come in.
flashes
Oh, Tony.
of good football
Competence,
and good results and good performances from other clubs. I've not really seen Bournemouth play a particularly good game at any point. Even when they beat Man United, they were pretty poor.
Yeah.
And it was just the fact that United had a very, very poor game as well. And I think that was maybe one of their last two victories in the league. So, yeah, I'd say Bournemouth would be my other team to go down.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind seeing Bournemouth go down. Dave?
Who do I want to go down?
go
Who do I
on.
think will go down?
Not who you
think-
want. Let's.
I think
see
Norwich will
nasty
go
streak.
down. I think Villa will go down, and I think Bournemouth.
Okay. It's unanimous on this side of the studio. We all dislike Bournemouth, despite the excellent job Eddie Howe has done in propelling that club to Premier League status. Yeah, I want to see Marcelo Bielsa in his place. By the way, that touch on Pedro about 30 seconds ago was criminally underrated. Why are you flagging it?
He's just done another. I did, but it just led to nothing. Like everything else, just
This
leading
game has
to
got
nothing.
so scrappy.
for no reason.
It feels like 30 minutes into the first half again. There's not even been and it's been 5 minutes.
Everybody
everyone's
looks
lost their head already.
shattered. Everybody looks shattered, and we've just come out of winter break.
Mental.
Like, people are already leaving gaping holes in their position.
That's why
what happens when
these
you go
men
on
aren't
holiday.
training on their winter breaks, man.
Still on holiday. A few too many mojitos.
I love that. The first winter break, and Albacek is just not for it.
It's the thing though.
Every manager wants it. Alba's not having it.
Not everyone coming 4-0.
ball. That's a great ball, Brandon.
I think we're putting.
That is true,
we're
mate.
putting too much credit with the winter break here. Putting far too much blame on them. Like neither of these sides were anywhere near their best before they went into the winter break. So it's only natural that they're going to be like this.
And also, as it's only a week for most sides,
Okay.
they're still training.
It's a good question. Should Harry Maguire still be on the pitch? Having re-seen it at half time, I think he potentially should have gone off for that. It was very
If
similar
some
to
get sent
Son.
off, then Maguire should be getting sent off, and that's the thing with VAR. If you're a referee and you've seen something
Tell him,
like
sir.
that, you go to the screen and check it out. Just go and check it out. No harm. People will be like, "Oh, calm." If you give it, you give it. If you don't, you don't. At least you've gone to see it. Now we're talking about a situation that could have been dealt with. They should have 10 men on this pitch.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have to say, even me seeing the replay, I think it's probably a red card. I think
It's almost like he stamps it, doesn't he? It's not
I
like...
think because Sonny,
It's a little bit naughty, isn't it?
for the Sonny one to be given as a red card and this one not to be, I also think that they recently told referees for red card incidents in particular to start going and looking at the screen. Ever since it happened in the FA Cup, they were told to do it. So it's a bit bizarre they haven't gone and checked out the screen. I think he probably should have gone off.
There we have it then. What do they think in the comments? We've not asked them. Guys, do you think that Harry Maguire should be on the pitch? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, because it would be a very different game if he wasn't.
Good shot.
Bang! Mason Mount!
Oh, bad touch.
Oh, good effort. No.
Whistle's gone, and he almost still missed it.
It's an unbelievable save that by De Gea, isn't it?
Even though it was a free kick, excellent reactions there from David De Gea. Dave, you were about to plunge into the comments.
I was about to ask a question.
Go on.
Do you think Alexander Isak could make it in the Premier League?
Okay, so he's at Real Sociedad at the moment.
Yeah.
I like that. That's probably the most niche question we've had of the night. McCubbin, you're right. Quite a lot of Eurofootball Daily scripts. Sociedad flying high at the minute with Odegaard, Isaac.
Yeah,
what do you
they've
think?
got everyone's fire in there. I was actually writing earlier about how Adnan Januzaj probably needs to get out of there because he's not getting a look in. They've got about 5 players, all on like 7-8 goals. So they're really that attack's really popping. And yeah, Alexander Isak's got like something like 7 goals in 850 minutes or something, which is ridiculous. He's still mainly made some appearances.
Well played.
Nice to see him fulfil some of that potential though, because obviously moved to.
Oh no! I can see a mile off, Eric.
Oh god.
Go on, Pedro.
That's so Eric Bailly.
Use your left. Do something.
Oh, Pedro! Oh my God! He's missed the follow-up.
Big chance for Chelsea.
That was a deflection.
Sums Eric Bailly to perfection. Doesn't it?
Break this down for us. You're on your feet, Sam.
Oh, Pedro, man. You've got to be finishing that. Pedro came
Brilliant by Wan-Bissaka.
Outrageous by Wan-Bissaka.
Eric Bailly, that's
no right to get that.
Let's not talk about Pedro missing out. Outrageous from Wan-Bissaka.
Banging.
Oh! Push!
Yes!
It's a push. It's a push.
Wait.
I'm just going to VAR. I'm just going to VAR.
I think that's some goal.
Celebrate Sam with a
This is
goal!
so anticlimactic. Well, VAR's ruined it for him.
Yeah.
Hey, relax, bro. Relax.
No. You scored it. Yeah, that's fine.
No.
It's fine.
Something feels wrong.
That's what it's like on the social, Sam. You can't celebrate till you see the ref give it.
Don't get nervous because you're on live TV.
This is weird. It's cagey.
Is it a goal or not?
Is it or not? Can we have some clarification?
There's nothing in that.
They are looking at it, Sam.
Really?
They are looking at it. You're right to be a little bit apprehensive,
That's
right?
Piliqueta on Brandon.
Ooh, that is a
there is a slight
He got
push.
pushed into him, though.
What do we think?
He's got pushed into him.
What are our gut
Is
instincts
there
saying?
2 hands on his back?
If the ref gives this, I'm actually going to lose it. You can't get pushed into a man and then...
If there's 2 hands on his back, it's a foul.
He got pushed...
Is that
Yes! Come on!
Is that pushing
Love it! VAR,
That is
really
so stupid.
excellent technology.
That is so stupid.
Oh, water everywhere. Sit down.
That's
My bad.
so stupid.
My bad.
That's what on the social.
That's so
fine.
stupid. That's so stupid.
Spillage is lickage, Joe Tomlinson. Get it up.
That is so stupid.
I think you should ask in the comments if they think that should have been disallowed or...
Are they Obaseki's tears or where did you just spill?
Is it a foul or what? Oh, come on, Oliver, that's a foul.
That's a
You
foul.
can't
It's silly. It's silly.
pushed in to him and it not being a foul.
I tell you what's frustrating. Before VAR, that is 100% a goal.
Yeah.
But now the fact that they can check these things and it is clearly a foul.
I've heard the comments. Oh, kicking off, guys. What do you
Comments,
think?
was it a goal?
Was that a push into a push? Let us know in the comments below. Are you Team Obra or Team Joe on that decision? Give us a hashtag, and you know Dave will read out every single
I've got
bloody one.
loads of comments about the red card. Let me just find them.
No, but did they think it was a foul or not? That's what I want to know.
All right, here we go. Brian H said, yes, please, come on, Chelsea. See, clearly thought it was a goal. Abdul Valaman Halman said, oh, VAR.
This ref wants Chelsea United to win, man.
Ethan Alejandro says it's a foul. Connor clearly thinks it's a goal. He said Big Zuma. It's literally mixed. It's mixed.
Okay, it's mixed.
Okay, so no consensus. We'll have to go with VAR's
What are you
decision.
doing,
And a little bit unfortunate there for Manchester United, I think. It did feel like a bit of a push into a push. Maybe the push wasn't strong enough.
It was the 2 hands. That's what it is.
Strong
the 2
enough.
hands. As soon as the 2 hands are back.
The United push was definitely more forceful.
The thing is, in a situation like that, though, like. But to a T, but
you're a maverick.
If I'm the ref there, my interpretation of that is by the time the ball has bypassed
Good challenge, get
off
up!
the box
Good
by the time
challenge,
anything
get up!
happens, and I
Play
feel
on!
like that whatever that push
That
is,
is
whatever that
awful,
contact is, doesn't have
That
any
looks dirty.
bearing on what's going to happen next.
Okay, interesting
So
there.
I would play, if I was the ref, I would have given that as a goal.
Obaseki, you're looking for a silver line and McCubbin's on your side.
It's kicking off. It's kicking off.
What's going on?
I don't know, but Rudiger would destroy Fred.
Martial doesn't look in a good way at all.
He's fine, he's okay. It was an absolute crunch of a tackle. It felt...
Looked like he broke his arm for a
He
second
got the
there.
ball, but I think he was off the ground when he got the ball. He got the ball, but it was vicious, wasn't
Yeah, it was a
and
juicy
I think
challenge.
he just fell on his back. But Martial, I think he's okay. But the tackle was brutal.
Okay, well, we've not
Looks like he's holding
we've
his
not seen
the
it
bottom of
back
his
yet.
which is
What's he
Well,
doing?
it's just how he landed. He's all right, I think.
No, but what are they giving? What is everyone arguing about before that?
I think Fred was just kicking off on it.
A lot of drama unfolding in the last minute there. Martial looks to be
Give him a
okay,
yellow,
thankfully. He's getting up. Fred probably getting booked for his reaction. Was it warranted? I didn't see the incident, Joe.
It was a good wholehearted tackle, I think. I would like that tackle.
Yeah, and we know about Joe's definition of wholehearted
tackle. But it was
tackle.
a crunch. It was a cruncher, and that didn't seem like it was anything wrong,
man.
So is that both your centre backs on yellows now?
Get the error for pushing Martial. Watch, there's a big tackle.
Push him.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all.
A little bit of follow through, but was he in control?
He completely won the ball there.
That's a good tackle, yeah.
But
he hasn't even made contact with him until his head did.
He's got booked for.
No, if that was Scott Brown, I'd be slapping my chest right now.
There's a lot of love. There's a lot of Team Obaseki in the comments.
Okay,
they're saying that Obaseki's right.
So a lot of people sympathising with Chelsea and that goal, including
VAR is winning Man United games.
Honestly, I can't lie. This is mad. This is mad. This is mad. I don't even. Like, you can't be mad at something that is just completely against you. You get what I'm saying?
Chelsea are on top here, though.
I feel like
Alba's 10 seconds away from using the word conspiracy, man. And that.
It's coming. It's coming. If we don't score the next 5, I'm telling you.
Go on, Rich James.
Good challenge.
Great challenge by Brandon.
Who's there?
But it really is coming. Chelsea are concerted pressure.
Boys!
Can't get out.
Wake up!
United could really do with a change.
Okay. Well, what do you think that change should be, Joe?
Odion Igalo.
Here we go.
Viva Igalo.
Out of quarantine and onto the pitch.
I think Odion Igalo on the pitch for Tony Martial.
That should be a Twitter bio.
Come on, Rudiger.
I think Martial's just looked a little bit isolated last few minutes.
Barchester United, there's a lot of comments saying.
Go on, Bruno. Lovely
Barchester
Bruno.
United.
Yeah.
What a programme.
That is outrageous. Bruno. Oh.
Just a little bit
Fletcher.
of pace.
What's his name? Carl Fletcher.
That's well played. We should get Carl Fletcher on
I
Football
would love
Social.
to get him on now.
Barchester United's finest. What are we talking about?
Martial.
No, but this is what I mean. Zuma shouldn't even be booked for that.
Okay.
I think he was booked for the aftermath.
I agree. Joe thinks Martial should come off. United fans, what are you doing to affect this game? Let us know in the comments below. Jackson, do we have any questions?
They are booting off, mate. They are booting off.
In what sense? Give us some context.
They're saying, I love when Aubrey and Jackson are on. You can hear the tears everywhere.
Hear the tears?
Yeah. Nalia Gray says Joe is annoying. Some other fella said Maguire should be off.
Agree.
Okay, this is quite a good question. Guy Dog is saying, who has the better youngsters, Man United or Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah. All round, I think United probably have the outstanding youngster in Marcus Rashford. But I think overall, Chelsea have the better.
Do you still class Rashford as a youngster in this context?
He's only 22, isn't he?
Yeah, true. I think.
I would say that's still a youngster. If we're talking like teenagers, then I'm not.
Didn't Harry Kane win Young Player of the Year at 26?
Something like that.
Oh.
It is harsh.
I can't believe this, bro.
It is harsh.
It's madness.
Good finish.
It's not even just harsh, it's madness.
No, but this is the thing, right? Now that they check it, it is actually a foul, right? But it's the kind of thing, without VAR, that's just playing on. It's
No,
done.
but that's my point is, if he didn't get pushed into that challenge, I'd understand.
Yeah.
He didn't have
You
control
think
of his
even
left
with
arm.
VAR, that's not a foul?
Yes, it's not a foul. You can't give the foul without the lead up to it, man.
And a lot of people are Team Aubrey in the comments, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm not surprised. I think that it is a harsh one, isn't it? It's very,
chance.
very harsh. Go on, Freddie.
it's getting a little bit scrappy now. I think they're at Manchester United.
What are you doing? Here we go.
Oh, that's a pen!
Pen! No.
Pen.
Has that been awarded?
Free kick outside
Free
the
kick
box.
just on the edge of the area.
Review that.
What's a Chelsea doing that, obviously?
that.
Talk us through
I
it.
think that was over the line.
Petro, you know, he sometimes does this thing where
Is
he
he in the
shimmies
box?
with his body and that,
Yeah.
Oh, that's outside, isn't it?
Why did he do it so many times?
This is Bruno range, is it?
Yeah, it is.
No, I think this will be
Left foot is.
This will be Freddie on this.
I can't do this anymore,
Why is
man.
Pedro that deep?
He was defending, but bro, just release. Just release.
Where's your striker? Get a striker on, so he's got someone to release too.
No, but there was no need for that. He could have gone back.
Harold!
Right, I mean, you've won a free kick in a promising position, Joe McCumming, but are you in danger of entering that territory you were talking about before where you're getting too deep now?
We do always do this. When we're 1-0, we get too deep and we invite pressure.
Got a bad feeling.
Although I'm excited for this. Bruno Fernandes is a bit of a free kick specialist.
Lewis Payne has
in
said
Portugal.
tears incoming, Sam.
So
I've got a bad feeling. I'm not even gonna lie.
Fred to shoot would be the option, or Bruno whipping it across that area. That's such a dangerous free kick position, isn't it?
Looking for
You know,
Slaven
if
at the
you're a
back post.
player, looking for somebody in.
Good.
Was he hit the
What a
post?
save.
Willie!
Save from Caballero.
He's hit the beans on
I don't think
toast.
he did. I don't know whether it was a save.
Flying Willie there.
I actually just think it's hit the post.
Wow. Good strike, though, man.
What a save from Willie. Oh, what's happened there? He's off.
Fred! He's off.
We're going to relive this free kick now for you. How close was
that was
that?
off the post.
It's the
post.
It's the outside of the
my
post, but that
days.
is a great effort from that position. He's wrapped his foot around it. He's got it past the wall.
The keeper Caballero.
If he'd have gone
the
2-0
keeper's
down,
definitely beaten them.
would you have been out? Would you have been out of the studio or?
Yeah.
Especially the Bruno Fernandes free kick.
I'm very close to.
Close to the edge, yeah?
Naughty by Pedro, and it's a bit naughty.
Pedro's moving mad.
Fred is clearly annoyed some of the Chelsea players.
Willie!
Big Willie claims. Fair play.
Man on.
What are they doing?
Who do you bring on now then, like Oba? Like aside from like the obvious Giroud, is there anyone else? Like would you want to bring Pedro?
Luke Shaw, that's great by Luke Shaw.
Driving out from defence there, Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw's turned into Beckenbauer.
Handball!
Win the corner, win the corner, win the corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's done well there. United done well there.
I think, everyone got swept up with the positivity earlier in the season. With Lampard, with Chelsea, with the youth, they deserved a lot of credit. But I think now Chelsea are displaying that they're a Champions League quality side. It's very patchy. I don't think Chelsea are going to... nothing's convincing me they're going to get back in this, Sam.
Oh my days! You know what it is, yeah? Because we started playing with so many youngsters, yeah. I understand like the drop off, but I just don't think it should be this mad. Like we've been so inconsistent. It's just sad.
I like what he's done. Lampard's done a fine
man.
job, just to clarify. But people are talking about.
Oh, yes! Yes! Come on, Harry! The freeze! Go on, Harold! At the bridge again!
Right, lock the door. Lock the door.
At the bridge again! Harold! Go on, Harry!
Sorry, Albert.
Bruno Fernandes.
Sorry about to go
What
through
a delivery. Captain Maguire.
Oh, wow.
Get out of my way.
And some people
Harry's
say
in the
he shouldn't be
building.
on the pitch.
Shouldn't be on the pitch.
He should be on the pitch.
Straight off the ball, by the way.
What a delivery. Bruno registers his first assist. You can't give him an inch. He'll take a mile. Look at this from Harold.
Who's that, Rudiger?
Absolute vintage slabhead.
Come on,
there.
Rudiger, get hold of me. No chance.
That's
Vintage slabbers.
That's his first header. That's his first headed goal for United. And what a stage to do it on.
Come on!
No chance.
Now it's game on. Now you've got to get Giroud on the pitch.
What a time to score. We were saying Chelsea not exactly in the ascendancy, but United probably needed to make a decision. But the decision's been made for them by Harry Maguire's forehead. It looks like Chelsea are going to have to open up a little bit more. There's going to be more gaps behind the defence. Might get out the break.
McSauce is in the comments.
What do you think? What do you feel at the moment? Take us through what's inside your bonds.
I prefer not to speak.
Okay, fair enough.
Time to go for some comments.
We'll give you 5 minutes.
Yes, please, David.
Oh, just lost them all. Gino's gone slabhead. McSauce slabhead. Aditi Sunil slabhead. Solskjaer 1999. That face. Sluggy, Captain Maguire, they're all going mental for Harry Maguire.
Do you know that all comes from that Pedro dribble into his own area?
He needs to make changes now. He needs to make changes. And someone saying this is a disgraceful referee in display. I don't think that was ref's fault for that, to be fair.
Yeah, I also am a little bit weirded out by how, McTominay got a shout amongst them. So, fair enough.
It was the spirit of McTominay.
People do love him.
Goal.
Yeah.
Here he comes then. Olivier.
Right,
Come on, Olivier.
5 minutes too late, I think.
Unless we forget, this is his last change. This is the last throw of the dice for Frank Lampard. Can 34-year-old Giroud dig them out of a hole here? Looks like Ollie's going to stretch his run to 5 and beat it against Chelsea.
Let's just relax.
It looks
Still a long way to
like,
go.
Joe, I hope I've cursed it there.
Yeah,
I would have nothing more than this game to end 2-2.
There is nothing more dangerous than a 2-0 lead.
I actually quite want Tottenham to finish 4th or 5th.
Why are you saying get out? Because I can get out as well.
Go.
Well won. That's good.
I don't know, Jose's kind of won me back over.
You and Jose can leave, mate.
United need to be composed now.
Oh, Batshuayi, Sam, talk us through this up, mate.
Giroud's coming on.
Is that his last start in a Chelsea shirt?
Probably.
I think it might be.
It's his only start since like 2017. It's just like that. So
yeah, I mean,
they don't come around very often.
He's managed 5 in 4 years, like we've kind of stressed throughout the show, and he'll have a bit part to play as a sub, but probably will be sold at the end of the season, won't they? To Arsenal.
Win a foul.
when Aubameyang goes, I just want to dig you out now for no reason. You know when you sell Aubameyang, you're finished.
You what?
You heard.
What did you say? I didn't hear.
When you sell Aubameyang, you're finished.
If we sell Aubameyang, we've got Martinelli, we'll be all right. You know.
OK, let's get back to the comments and let's bring it back to the game. Dave, what we're saying?
There's a lot of hate.
Blow it, Aaron!
There's a lot, there's a lot of hate for referees. A few saying Lampard out.
Honestly, he's ruined the game. You can't.
He's not ruined the game.
You can't say the penalty and then the goal hasn't ruined the game.
And the sending off as well.
It's ruined the game.
Should have been off. Harry Maguire shouldn't have been a pitch, should he?
You genuinely ruined the game.
Again, this is from Thomas. So this is disgraceful refereeing display. You know.
Go on, sorry, mate.
Ben Shakespeare, come on, Man United.
Harry again!
Not again! Not again!
Off the line!
So what happened there? Harry Maguire threatening again, Joe?
Just another Bruno Fernandes delivery. He has been fantastic over a dead ball today, and one-on-one, Zuma is getting dominated, obviously, and it's a brilliant bit of defending by Azpilicueta, so it's a tap-in for Dan James. It's a great delivery by Bruno.
That is lovely delivery.
And it's a tap-in. Oh, it's for Martial, a tap-in if it wasn't for that bit of defending. Bruno, get on this corner. Let's have another one of them.
If this finished 3-0 to Manchester United, I was probably going to... his head's going to explode.
There's 4,700 people on the stream watching right now.
And if you're not subscribed to Football Daily, hit that subscribe button now, as well as Soccer EM. Get us in the comments, because Dave Jackson is going to ask all of them at the end of the game. For
every single question.
Panel, our Football Daily only panel. The lad's going to stick around for hours and hours after the game, particularly Obaseki, to make sure that no one
Great play!
unsatisfied.
Oh, I should have. Fred's in, Fred.
Fred's had a decent game, actually.
Should have put the ball in there.
Combative, not great with the ball, Joe. What have you made of his last 2 or 3 months?
He's been our best midfielder, which isn't saying much because we haven't had any midfielders, but he's drastically improved last 2 to 3 months. Physically, mainly, I think.
He's impressed me.
He's really improved physically. First couple of months, or even the first year, he was knocked off the ball so easily. Yeah. But it just hasn't been the case recently. So hope it continues. But how Ollie lines up when he's got all of his midfielders fit, I'm not too sure. Does Fred start for you, Mikey, if everyone's fit?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
so who do you leave out, McTominay?
I think it's a difficult one, to be fair. I think I would probably, to be fair. Like, I think you'd have Fred and it depends, because I think like
Fred, Pogba and Bruno.
I think it's Pogba and Bruno like occupy similar kind of areas and they play similar kind of games. So it's a difficult one, but I would have Fred in there because you need to have that defensive presence. I don't think McTominay can hold it down defensively as well as Fred.
It's true. It's true. Here's a chance. There's
a little
very
comment
good point,
coming from Terry92 saying Obaseki is sinking like Chelsea's top 4 chances.
Oh no! Believe Obba.
Oh, but this is a great chance. You won't get up for this.
You know what it is?
We need some positive
We're still
energy.
going to get top 4, but it's calm. The referees ruined the game for me. Really.
Ruined it, if anything.
He's ruined Obba's debut.
This is a great chance.
A goal here completely changes things.
Totally changes
Come
the
on,
game.
Chelsea.
Come on, then. What is that?
Not great.
Was that Mason Mount?
Really, really poor by Reece James. That's awful.
Yeah,
Is that Reece James over a free kick?
He wishes he had the delivery of Aaron Wan-Bissaka for that.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
will never ever stand over a free kick.
The sip of water afterwards as well. Perfection from
I'm just waiting to speak to Zach Jalab in the office.
Hey, can we get Jalab on the phone in?
Oh dear, what are we doing?
He's down at Bridge.
Get it up.
He is down at Bridge, actually.
What are we doing? Get it out.
True.
There's a comment here from George
shots
Canning.
from
He said a lot of
target,
energy in the studio.
Oh no!
Kovacic!
Oh, what a
tackle! He's back! He's back!
That's the player we
Come
signed
on
in
then, Eric.
2016.
Match-saving tackles for Wan-Bissaka and Eric
Look
Bailly.
at that.
Unreal.
Oh,
Class. Should Kovacic pull the trigger sooner?
He should score. He should score. He has to score.
That's a terrible touch to take it out.
Mate, how good is it by Giroud, by the way?
Like, how good would the numbers have been for the stream if he scored? God's sake, Kovacic.
Come on, Chelsea.
Really good by Eric Bailly.
Yeah, better love about that. Mike,
Kovacic is injured now. They got no more subs.
Kovacic has damaged himself.
God.
top 4 hopes.
Subs.
Draining away.
They've used all their subs.
Yeah,
They
like-
came on half time.
Of course, yeah.
There was another injury in the first half.
Kante, wasn't it? Went off.
Kante.
Who came on for Kante again?
Mason Mount.
Well, we don't know the extent of this injury, but it does not look good. Kovacic is hobbling around like he is severely impaired.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
If you get one back
yet.
hitting out, that's poor.
That is really poor from William.
Kovacic can't walk. He needs to come off.
Yeah, that goal could have changed the game, but it's actually just effectively buried Chelsea's chances of getting back into it if Kovacic is
Pedro?
injured. He's moving a bit better now.
Oh, Pedro.
We've got to be quick on the break now, United. United have to use everything they've got.
We might actually see a flurry of goals in the last 10 minutes because it's opening up. Chelsea are getting a bit more expansive now, aren't they? They're desperate.
Look at our front line, though. What's the average age? What is it? My gosh.
You do need to get in the market for a centre forward, don't you?
Yes.
Who should that centre forward be?
Timo.
Great touchdown.
Unorthodox. That's good.
Brilliant. That's brilliant by Dan James.
That's a great tackle from
Set
Ruger as well.
pieces.
Brilliant by Dan James.
That's exactly
Bruno
what
on
you
that
need.
ball again.
Yeah.
I'm in the mood for a third.
74 minutes, Dan James hasn't.
Yellow.
He hasn't tired. He's won United corner.
Where's
Up
Odion?
comes Slaven.
Where's Odion?
To be fair, he did say that he wants to bring one at 3-0, didn't he?
Oh, he's called it. Ollie, the Messiah. Right, a corner here. Bruno Fernandes, like Joe said, has
It's going
been
to be Fred
awesome
on this one. Left foot, I think. Fred.
from a set piece today, but it might be Fred taking it. Can't see as of yet.
Kovacic actually has to score that, though, man. It's so deep.
What's Bai doing?
It's so deep.
Look at this for him.
The love train. Remember 2018 World Cup.
Wait, smash!
Brandon Williams from the edge of the area.
No, what are you doing?
Brandon, that is
That's
awesome.
what are you doing?
Poor.
He's not winning that, is he?
Yeah, Bruno, get up, mate.
Head injury though. Ref's got to stop it though.
No.
He's faking it. He's fake faker,
Bruno,
mate.
come on, lad.
You can
Come on,
already
let's
tell
try.
Bruno's
Come on, let's
got a
get a
little
goal,
bit of
lads.
that.
Let's get a goal, lads.
Love it.
Give me yellow, ref.
Really good
He's
by
off.
Brandon Williams.
Oh, I think he might be giving Bruno a yellow here.
You take that there. Brandon Williams
Or
winning.
is he not?
Ref, are you joking? Where are you going?
I think he might.
He got injured. Pedro's down injured.
Tactical
easy
foul
though.
there from Brandon Williams, halfway on the halfway line. Is the ref having a word with Bruno Fernandes? Is he saying that's a little bit soft?
What's this ref on?
I don't know why he doesn't just book him there.
Yeah,
Why
I
would,
think
like,
the ref's
He's
had a
booking the
word.
wrong player there,
The
that's
ref's
for
had a
sure.
word.
It wasn't Luke Shaw, it was Brandon Williams.
yeah, actually.
Oh, he's got it right now. Well done.
Shaw just told him.
Shaw just
You'll see him changing that in about 30 seconds. It's a little scribble.
Tactical foul.
Oh, no, I rate it. I rate it.
Yeah, Williams had to do that. We talk about the defending, maturing his match intelligence.
Yeah,
Showing a bit of
Score now, game on, innit?
fifth booking though. Does that mean it's how
10
many
after Christmas, you mean.
10. Oh, fair enough.
bit of a penchant for the dark arts, has he, as Brandon? 5 yellow cards. There we go.
5 before Christmas, you need to hit 10 after.
Right.
That's good trivia. That I never knew that before. In all my years of watching the Premier League.
Really?
Yeah. So,
15 minutes left to go. Do you guys at home think Chelsea stand any chance of getting back in this game? Are you more positive than Obaseki on set? Let us know in the comments below. Get your questions in. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'd love for you to stick around. We'll be sticking around after the game as well.
Well played. Go on, drive. Go on. Come on. Good delivery.
Oh, but what's happening?
Oh. Yes! Get the ball! Get the ball, man! Let's go!
What's a header?
Why was he going to not start?
That's what I said! You play these man! You play him! I said when Giroud comes on,
Offside. Well on.
Get the lines out. They're checking it. They're checking it.
Bang!
They will check it.
What a goal that
Get
is.
the line. Yes, he's on! Yes!
no!
Come on!
That is ridiculous.
Miles offside!
This is mad.
Oh my God! Lampard's having a look himself.
Oh, nothing is going Chelsea.
Miles offside.
Nothing.
He's a foot offside.
This
there.
is
It's
mad.
not close.
This
It's
is
not
mad.
close.
It
It's
isn't
miles
cl-
offside.
It isn't close, but nothing is going Chelsea.
Love it!
Can we let's put a bit of respect on the ball as well from Mason Mount.
Brilliant
That's
by VAR.
so good.
Yeah, again, it's just world class by VAR, isn't it?
They've just ruined the game,
This is
really.
mental.
I'm sorry, but he's offside. What do you want to do? He's offside. He's a foot offside.
He is.
It's not even one of them fractional ones.
But United are, it's not luck if it's an easy decision. Joe's right, but United have
Rode their luck. They've rode their luck, haven't they?
Oh, he's a foot offside.
It's embarrassing, really.
What the correct decisions are being made? Come on.
What about the other goal?
That's
What about the
well
other goal?
offside.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You can't just try and call it for one and then not the other.
5,100 people on the stream.
Get up!
The controversy is real.
Welcome. Stick around to see Obaseki's head come clean off its
No,
shoulders.
I'm good because my team has tried, innit?
United need a change. United need to make a change.
Ref, you're not giving that. Thank you. Get the ball.
What, you don't think the scoreline is a reflection of the performance?
No way.
So what do you think it should be right now?
It should be 1-1.
Manchester United fans do agree 1-1?
Yeah,
it's been
it's pretty even. I think what United did capitalise on was after that first Chelsea disallowed goal, Chelsea just fell apart in a way that I don't think we've seen either team do since or before.
Okay. Yeah.
And United were just parked in their half for pretty much 10 minutes. That's when the Maguire goal happened. We just took advantage of what was
Why are you moving like he's
period
on
for
anything,
Chelsea.
man?
So I think
Relax.
in that sense, maybe United deserve to be up, in front because of that 10-minute period. But yeah, balance of the game.
Similar happened when Man United were playing Chelsea at Old Trafford. There was after we scored, I think it was the second goal. They just capitulated. Do you remember when we scored like 2 in 2 minutes?
Yeah,
Rashford
that
scored
10-minute period McCubbin was talking about. Yeah.
So United need to make a change now. What I was talking about, us getting a little bit too deep and inviting pressure.
And we all want to see a goal, though. Come on.
That was extremely
but it's not going to be a goal. It's going to be Pereira.
Maybe for Bruno or for Dan James.
Dan James probably.
Yeah.
Like you said, Dan James required to run himself into the ground because of your lack of build-up play from midfield.
It is Dan James.
Yeah.
It is Dan
A bit more
James,
defensively minded,
confirmed by
Andreas, as well.
McCubbin. Yeah.
VAR is getting slaughtered in the comments.
No,
I'm sorry, I know that VAR has
bad.
had a bit
It's
of a mare.
bad.
With Maguire was a mare.
It's not a bit of a mare. It's changed the dynamic of the whole game.
You can't moan about the offside.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I don't
Even the
mind.
push,
I don't mind right calls yet.
You're
right
upset about the
calls.
consistency.
The wrong calls, like, it's got to be consistent. Like if you're gonna have a system to come into a game, it has to be consistent.
It's not. Yeah.
It has to be.
To an extent, it has to be consistent, but it will always come down. It will always come down to the refs' interpretation, or whoever's watching its interpretation, right? Like so, it's more there as a guide. The ref could have seen the Maguire incident and decided that it wasn't a red. Like that's possible that could have happened.
That has never happened.
United not knocking on the door. Chelsea knocking on the door. United have made that change though that Joe was talking about. Reece James seeing a lot of possession down his right-hand side.
Strong.
10 minutes left. If you were to get a goal in the next couple of minutes, changes the dynamic like we discussed before. Come on, Chelsea. We want a grandstand finish here.
What was that?
And that was wasteful. Have you been buoyed by the way Chelsea have played in the last 2 or 3 minutes? Because we spoke about them switching on, but it's back on now. It's back on.
Yeah, but it's just we're playing well, innit? But it's just annoying that it takes us going 2 goals down to get some fire in our belly, man. Like, we should be playing like this from the beginning. But at the same time, when we've got wide men like Reece James, we've got Pedro, we've got Mount that can deliver a ball. Why is Giroud not starting, fam?
I think Mount's been quite.
Those are things that you
good
actually
since
got
he's come on
questions.
as well.
Yeah,
Kovac has been the best player on the pitch, I think.
Fred's played well. Bruno Fernandes has been tidy in possession.
Bruno Fernandes, not the sort of player I was expecting when he first arrived. Like, he's much more of a workhorse than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a bit more of a sort of luxury player.
No, that's what Bernardo Silva said, though. He
Bruno
said that
Fernandes,
he's a worker.
Bit surprised, which was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I think he's got more strings to his bow than just sort of delivering
a
a smashing
dynamic midfielder,
midfield.
yeah, and then maybe the shape of like a Ceballos, Kovacic,
Good touch.
Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Okay, Azpilicueta trying to get his side back in the game.
What is that by Wan-Bissaka?
Winning a corner. Wan-Bissaka's backing it out for a corner.
We're not sure about that.
Willian,
Still
you've got
out
one
of date,
delivery
though,
to change
Come
the
on
game,
in,
bro.
Giroud. Come on,
You've got
Giroud.
one
Believe,
delivery
Sam.
to change the game, Willian. If this doesn't go past first man, I'm going to lose it. Thank you.
It's no pass to first man.
Bang!
Oh my God!
It's back in the mix. It's chaos.
Lucky.
Oh my goodness! It's hit 2 or 3 bodies there. Chelsea have it.
Good
Pick someone out. He's got time. Pick someone out.
Oh my God!
That's embarrassing, really.
Azpilicueta.
Couldn't have fallen to a worse player.
Yeah, fair enough.
On his left foot.
Oh, now Pedro's injured.
I think Pedro's got cramped. Yeah. Again, Pedro not mustered an awful lot of starts this season. Are you pleased, given the makeshift look of your lineup at the start of the game? It's not your strongest side, is it? I mean, mainly the forward department.
Stop creasing. Stop creasing. I'm actually going to lose it. I swear down. Stop creasing because it's not a joke. No, to be fair, yeah, looking at those lineups, we should be winning.
Okay.
We should be dominant. So it's not going the way it should be, but you know.
Physio's on then.
You know, the ref, VAR, and all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
They dictate the game now.
VAR
It's not really about the footballers anymore.
But VAR has killed you to some extent, but equally, I don't think you've done enough to win the game.
Yeah, but we haven't done enough to lose.
No, shot on target.
I'm sure we have.
That must maybe that one from.
That one just then must have been the one shot.
The 2 shots on target was disallowed.
Just then, yeah.
That was on the target.
Then I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think you have had a shot on target. We can
I'm not sure you've done enough to
fair enough. But
There we
I know what you mean.
but-
On the balance of play, on the actual quality of play, I don't think either team really deserves it that much. But I
Draw will be fair, but when you've got-
I think United just capitalised more on Chelsea's mistakes than Chelsea have on
That's
United.
Do you think is Ollie's game plan going to be lauded yet again? He's taken another scalp off a side, above Manchester United in the league. We're kind of coming to expect this from United away from home in big games, aren't we?
It's just it is the kind of games that Ollie can win because inevitably you're playing teams with slightly higher lines. You're going to be able to get in behind a little bit more. Going to be able to hit them on the break a little bit more.
Well done, Brandon.
Teams that aren't setting up to defend against you.
And Bruno Fernandes has given you a bit more control, a bit more ball retention, hasn't he? So that was very welcome.
Adds a little bit of the quality that we missed without Pogba in the side. Just like those kind of classy pinged through balls which do open up games in a way that you just can't do without one of those kind of players. So it's nice to see that.
I'm sure Marshall and James appreciate that supply line.
That's embarrassing.
We're talking about United being a little bit better in possession, but they've just pumped it out for a goal kick. David.
By Maguire.
Have we got a question, Dave? I thought you looked really active there, mate.
Oh no, you're just talking about that's the games that Ollie can win. We didn't win at the Emirates, did he? So
there you go. Little wink.
In there, mate.
You had to win one
I don't know if anyone saw that again. But me. Okay, so we are in the 85th minute. Get your questions ready for the end of the game. If you're new to Football Daily, please hit that subscribe button. As the name suggests, we provide new content daily, and subscribe to Soccer AM as well. Oh, Sam.
Kicked him in the back.
It happens, man. It happens, man. It's not really down to a team's brilliance or a team's cutting edge.
It's one
VAR,
man's
really.
head.
VAR,
Slap
really.
head. Harold.
VAR, really.
The head, Maguire.
VAR, really. I've never seen a man be able to kick someone in the crotch so clean
And then climb.
and the ref not even go and give it a check. They didn't even have a few seconds. It was just automatic. How does that make sense?
This is this free kick again. Odds this goes out for another goal kick.
Is it hard?
Isn't it?
Last couple of free kicks from Man United's half have been awful. So is it harder? Do you find it harder to process as a Chelsea fan that you've not been convincingly beat? You feel
that's the thing. I'd rather that. I'd rather than be dominating and us being on the back foot constantly. It's not that. It's not that type of game. It's just these small decisions impact games, bro. It was going to be 1-1 if... Was it going to be... Yeah, it was going to be 1-1 if the ref didn't... If they went over to the screen and saw that Aspie got pushed into a player, so he ultimately pushed another player, and then the goal should stand. But no, they're not even checking it. It's just
it's a similar vibe to when you lost 4-0 at Old Trafford, right? Tammy almost opened proceedings. I definitely don't think it was a 4-0 game. I don't think anyone does.
Go on.
Oh, and there was a sense you could have got something out of that game. Do you feel like Chelsea just haven't really adapted tactically since then? It feels like it's very easy to say that they've fallen for Ollie's schemes, his plans yet again, but is there still a bit of tactical naivety in the squad?
I don't know. I don't think
Too
it's
easy.
that, honestly. The only change that I would have made to Lampard's starting lineup is Giroud, man. You can already see the type of game it is now. They've got something to worry about in the air, on the floor, everywhere. Yeah, he can't run in behind them. Man.
Another one.
Oh my goodness.
As soon as United...
Oh, it's another...
I think as soon as United went for a
Pinball
back
corner.
five, you knew that Giroud was probably the better selection.
Yeah.
Because United were going to sit deep and they laid their plan out there. And at least you could have put Giroud or Maguire. The amount of times the balls hit towards Batshuayi first half and Maguire was just winning free headers. I think as soon as it's hard to predict, isn't it? Although he did it in the Carabao and in the Premier League before.
And you've almost played with a very narrow four. Brandon Williams sort of being the guy who kind of stays in midfield, and we've seen Wan-Bissaka very close to his centre half.
Silly by Bruno.
It looks like Bruno Fernandes is going to get booked, and he's given away a free kick in a promising position here. Can Chelsea make it a grandstand finish? Like we said, it's the 88th minute. A free kick from a very, very promising position. That's an extremely high foot.
Reece, I love the
Bruno.
though,
Why is he doing that though, Bruno? Get your head in there, bro.
Okay, so not a great place to give away a free kick. Can Chelsea maximise this chance?
Bruno's got to put his head in there.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not brave enough.
Well, Reece James came straight for him there. Would you have Reece James in his free kick, Sam?
No.
Mason. Shooting?
No.
Here he comes!
Odion. you know what? I'm like Mo Salah when he scored against United and it's already on 1-3-1-1. Well, this is going to be a goal. This is going to be a goal.
What, and it being a terrible goal.
Oh!
Is it the post?
Is that the post? Is that a Bruno Fernandes?
Chelsea have hit the outside of the post. Mason Mount bending it round the wall.
This is not. It's just not your days at Sam.
Low driven effort.
In the post from the exact same area.
Why is it play on? Shoot! Shoot! Why is it not shooting?
That'd be such bad etiquette.
So what?
Matter! Get up, bro!
Okay.
Who's here? No
Hold on, guys. David De Gea's on the floor. We're not quite sure why.
I think it's his shoulder, actually.
Play has been stopped.
There has to be at least 8 minutes at the time. What?
Oh, he's hit that with quite a lot of impact.
Smart by De Gea. This is game management.
Yeah, it's game management.
Experience game management.
He's
Joe's going to finish. It looks like he might have hit his chest on a post.
No, this is experience game management.
It's quite a definitive diagnosis there.
Would you be happy if you were walking about in a second?
Okay, I mean, he doesn't look in great shape. Sergio, the world's best number 2. That normally follows his
Adrian
name,
now,
isn't
I
it?
think. Adrian's taking the title.
Has he?
Yeah, I think so. Adrian's second best.
That's on Romero's LinkedIn profile. The world's best number 2.
Here he is. His debut then. You happy with this?
Buzz it, mate. How can you not be happy for Odion Igalo?
Yeah, big time.
Come in. He has been a boyhood Manchester United fan. To get this chance now. Yeah, he's been a Manchester United fan since he was a kid. And to get this chance now at, what, 31?
Yeah, fair play.
This is an amazing moment for Odion Igalo.
Yeah, I love it, man.
And he took a pay cut.
50%.
Imagine that, taking a pay cut to join United. What?
To play in the theatre of dreams, of course.
I think he took a big old pay cut.
He's looking in good shape, man. Odion, massive.
Oh,
this is an amazing moment for Odion Igalo. Go on, Odion!
History has been made.
My Nigerian brother, I've got to rate it.
That is pretty amazing, sir.
Yeah.
Remember the name.
What, they've just given 5 minutes as well.
Oh, man.
Okay, so quite a fair amount of stoppage time. Still some time to reclaim some pride, Sam. Come on, believe. There is also time for Odion Igalo to score a goal and for Joe to be completely insufferable for the next 5 minutes. So let's.
If Odion Igalo scores, trust me, I'll be more insufferable for longer than 5.
Yeah. Next week, I expect.
There he goes.
There we go.
Here he goes! Oh, come on! We got the next R9 on our hands! Look at him! Look at him!
This is like watching Ronaldo Nazario. Come on, that's United ball.
Who's this? Who is that?
United,
Dalot.
Who is it? Diego Dalot. United running down the clock here, making a couple of substitutions, consecutive ones. A great first touch from Igalo. You know, if you're wondering in the comments, if you're not watching a game, he's spun his man, he's recycled possession. Joe's buzzing. Okay. Bruno Fernandes is coming off for his countryman, Diogo Dalot.
Now we've got about 15 defenders on the pitch, haven't we?
I'm not quite sure what your formation is at the moment, to be perfectly frank.
One Pereira, get after him.
He just dashed him on.
Speaking of Frank, is he still the man for the job?
Wing, mate.
Oh, I love that. That's a great segue. That's a fantastic segue, David. No one else has reacted to that. That's poor form from everyone else.
You were pretty deep. You need to get some players out the pitch.
Yeah, big time.
Oh, go on.
Oh, good touch that from James.
Oh, class. Go on, Odion. Oh, that's just maturity. That's really smart maturity by Odion.
Really smart. I must admit, I reckon.
Fred!
I reckon that there's a part of him that's wishing that Troy Deeney was up top with him.
Go on, Odion! Odion! Oh, that was the moment!
That was the moment! That was the opportunity! Straight at the goalkeeper. Joe, what happened?
Oh my God.
That was the moment. Odion had a one-on-one. Oh, that was the moment.
That was actually the moment.
It was Odion. He'd scored one-on-one.
Could you imagine?
I can't believe that was a clear opportunity as you could hope for.
Get it in the corner, Freddie.
No, get it in for Odion.
Ref!
Hey, Ref, are you actually being serious?
Fred here has it in the corner. United winding
if
Chelsea
Odion had
up.
scored there, oh my word. What's Giroud doing back there playing DM?
Okay, guys, quick reminder then as Chelsea clear it to make sure you get your questions in the comments below. We'll be asking the guys after the game. There's still 2 minutes for Odion Igalo to score. Stick with us because Joe will absolutely lose his Swede.
That's actually the best chance of the game, full stop.
That is a better chance than Chelsea have created all game.
Let's not go that far.
Come on.
It's got to be.
Probably.
Maybe the
Actually, no,
Batshuayi cutback,
it was as good as the Kovacic chance before.
That was a big
Luke
chance,
Shaw,
wasn't it?
not Luke Shaw. Bailly got in the way. He was clean through.
That's why they've not had an effort on target, of course. Well, up until that point, a couple of great blocks.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been, wouldn't it?
No foul.
Why did you not start Giroud, man?
Bro, why did he not start Giroud? That's
a big
the
error.
biggest question.
Yeah, massive.
The biggest question.
I think you're right. I don't think you're understating it when we say that's probably Bats' future over. He's tried to trust him in a big game.
That is Batshuayi's future over, isn't it?
And I still think he's a decent player, and there's still.
Do you think he's top 4?
He'll go.
I don't
Probably.
I don't think so.
Perhaps not. He'll go to a fine club.
Palace.
He'll go to a fine club.
But that's what I don't get, because he was good at Palace. Like, was it just that Chelsea wanted too much for him, or what? Like,
David, any danger?
I don't understand why Palace didn't take him on last time, to be honest. But there might be a reason that I'm not privy to, because it would seem like
basically Chelsea weren't willing to sell him in the January window because they couldn't get a replacement. It was the same with Giroud going to Inter.
Yeah, of course, because still had the transfer ban last summer. I do forget that. So yeah,
so with the man necessity at the moment. David, we're getting an influx of comments. I'm going to come to you in a minute's time.
Sure.
30 seconds time.
Got a nice comment from
odds.
Foxella.
Oh, get on the weights! Love it, Odion. Odion, that's rubbish, ref.
I just lost a comment. He's saying, I feel bad for Sam, especially since he sat next to Joe. So,
he's all right, old Sam here, isn't he?
It was a match made in heaven.
I think Joe could have been a lot worse today, actually.
Yeah.
I think Odion had scored.
Wait, you know what it is secretly why he can't even be moving mad, because he knows VAR's done a madness and the ref. He knows.
I don't know, Joe, what do you like think to that?
Win's a win, mate. Win's a win. Win is a win.
Blaming the fact that Chelsea haven't had a shot on target on VAR.
I don't know, still got 20 seconds to go. Have a dig. Oh, what's the point?
Lovely touch from Pedro, that. Really nice touch yet again. I mean, he's not done enough in the last 20 minutes to get.
Get in! Massive result!
Well,
VAR get the headlines
Get
again. VAR gets the headlines again. Simple. Really.
Massive 3 points for Manchester United.
Huge.
Like we said, 5th place at the moment is a Champions League spot. That's a massive result for Tottenham Hotspur as well in their ambitions to land a top 4 place. They are breathing down the necks
1 point behind you
Chelsea
there
at
now.
the moment, aren't they?
1 point.
My, oh my, very few points separated. We'll have a look at the table in a moment. We're going to update it for you and bring you the complexion of the Premier League, the top end of the Premier League, in just a moment. Let's have a few questions, though, in the aftermath of that result. Field them out to the guys, Dave.
Sure,
The floor is yours, mate.
there is actually a lot of sympathy for Sam. They're saying that he did well, and he's obviously taking a lot of stick. There's also a question: is Frank Lampard still the right man? Sam, I guess you would take that. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, I'd say give him another year.
Yeah.
Another year. Yeah.
What about this Chelsea do you like then? What gives you faith?
That there's still belief. Like, even when we've had periods of being down, like, he's still able to get the best out of certain players. I do genuinely think that the fact that we've had so many youngsters start the season and we're coming to the end of it, yeah. Don't look at me, bro. Don't look at me.
This is the biggest test of your debut so far. So just ignore Joe in the
No, it's hard. It's hard, bro, because he's looking. I don't want him to look at. Just don't look at me right now. In terms of Lampard, yeah.
I'm with you.
I still think that if we have him post the summer and he's got his players that he wants, and it's still the same, then that's when we start adding questions to it. But no one would have expected him to be at this point. So
what if, and it's a big what if, Allegri says, yeah, I'll go to Chelsea if Lampard is willing to step aside?
it's just a thing of, like, that's what someone said about Poch as well, and it's just like Lampard just won't step aside, isn't it?
I don't think he deserves to be discarded either.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a tough one. I don't really, like, I get why people will start questioning him because our form is just so inconsistent. But at the same time, with the squad that he had, the fact that he's still riding it out with so many injuries to our side.
Here he is, Ollie.
There's a lot of the managers at the moment owe their lifespan to sort of one another in a weird way, don't they? The inconsistency of the other top 4 sides. I mean, we're talking about Lampard like he's on the cusp of losing his job, and they're kind of still in the hunt for Champions League play. With a transfer ban looming over them, so maybe we just need to kind of, get back to reality, Sam? Is that?
No, but
do Chelsea fans have to accept that Europa League football beckons?
No chance. We're Champions League football all the way. But at the same time, it's just like we just need to lift it. We just need to lift it and rally round now because we need CL football to get ballers in.
Okay.
We need
they need
CL
you. They need you in the dressing room saying we go again. I think that's what they need.
Fam,
That's what they need.
If they want to shout me, I will come in the dressing room at half time, at full time. Just 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. I promise you.
What does that speech look like? What does that
Improvements.
speech look like?
I'll just look at all of them, you know, like
Oh, I thought you were going to go full any given Sunday. Right, let's have a look at the table then, because I'm sure people back home are wondering what the heck is going on in the Premier League. Chelsea remain in fourth, but 3 points separates seventh and fourth. How do you get, well, 7 into 5, I suppose, now with that Champions League ban going Manchester City's direction? Wow, gentlemen, very quickly then, going from left to right, David Jackson.
Yes, mate.
We've been doing Champions League predictions all season long.
Yeah.
But it's worth revisiting with this whole new dynamic of fifth place secure Champions League football. Who finishes in fourth and fifth? Because I think we all in the same kind of train of thought where Leicester and City are going to finish second and third.
Definitely. 9 points clear. The goal difference says it all. I think the goal difference is plus 28 and the closest is plus 9.
Okay, so that's second and third occupied. Fourth, fifth and sixth. In order, please, gentlemen. Who wants to go first? Who wants to come out the blocks?
I'll go first.
Go on, Jackson.
Okay, so Liverpool win it.
Yeah.
City finish second, then Leicester. Then I think it will be Spurs, then Arsenal, and then Chelsea.
Arsenal
then United.
fifth.
Wow.
Spurs, Arsenal,
Arsenal
Chelsea,
fifth.
United. That is bold. McCubbin, follow that up.
I mean, top three, same. I also think Spurs will get Champions League. I think
Jose's back.
I think it will be Chelsea fifth, and then Chelsea fifth, United sixth.
Oh, okay. So United still getting European football. Joe?
I think the exact same as Mikey. I think Spurs will sneak into the fourth spot. Chelsea will have the legs once Pulisic's back, once Callum's back and Tammy Abraham's back to finish fifth. Okay. And then I actually think by the time the final whistle blows on the season, there'll be a bit of disparity between like Arsenal, United, and then those top five. I think Arsenal. I think you'll be in incredibly apt.
Can I ask you, to United fans, what is it about Spurs that makes you confident they're going to finish fourth? Because last gasp win against Aston Villa yesterday, far from convincing.
I think Harry Kane will somehow be back fit in the next 3 weeks. And then that'll change it. Something like that. It'll be ridiculous.
Man.
He'll be back at the start of March. First 2 weeks of March, Harry Kane will be back, and that'll be it.
Okay, so you think getting their talisman back at the end of the season?
I think they'll get Kane back quicker than we get Rashford back, and they'll decide the league.
And Rashford, the lack of Rashford costing you any hope of Champions League football. Okay, your thoughts similar?
Kind of. I think just I know it's maybe a bit lazy to say it, but the experience in that Tottenham team, there are a lot of players in there who have seen out these kind of seasons before. They're getting results at the right time. They've hit better form in the last month. They've got a few players like Tanganga who's come in so good form. Mourinho, not doing a spectacular job, but you're starting to see the players buy into him a little bit more now. I just think there's more quality overall in that Tottenham squad as well. I think than the Chelsea
he's
squad.
picked that dressing room up. I know you don't want to see it.
I love Jose.
Jose usurped Chelsea. Do you think it's going to happen? What should give us your top five, your top six?
I think it's going to finish the same way it is now. Like, I don't think that people forgetting that United go from winning 2-0 now and then they'll lose the next 3 games.
But these boys
Arsenal the same way.
Put United in their Champions League spots.
Yeah.
So you think fourth Chelsea?
Fourth Chelsea and Spurs fifth. Yeah. And I don't think Wolves and Sheffield United are gonna drop off that much. Like everyone's just neglecting how good they're actually doing.
So you think they'll finish 6th and 7th?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so we've had your thoughts, but let's have the thoughts of Bruno Fernandes and co. They are with us right now.
Guys, well played. Harry, another win over Chelsea. How big a result is it for you?
Yeah, it was a big game coming into tonight. We knew we had to try and get the 3 points, close the gap. And no, it was a solid performance, and obviously it's nice to get a 2-0 victory. They missed a few chances at times, but no, it was a good solid performance. We could have been better on the ball at times, but it's a big 3 points, and that's what matters.
And Bruno, big night for you. Your first win in a Manchester United shirt.
Oh, I feel great. I'm really happy. It's a difficult game against Chelsea, a great team, and we need to win to keep forward in this way and keep going with the winning games. I think we can do much better with the ball, like Harry say, but here it was a good game against a good team. They are really good with the ball, but we do our game and we win.
How have you found both the club and the Premier League so far?
Oh, I feel good. Also, obviously, I play for I think the biggest club in England, and I'm really happy. It's a dream come true.
Harry, what difference has he made?
No, you can see what he's made. Is the quality on the ball that he brings, his technical ability, and no, he's a presence as well. He's come in, he demands off players. He's a leader, and he's nice to have around the dressing room. So, long may it continue.
And I know for you, you've been waiting for one of those headers, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Obviously, got the first goal against Tranmere, but it was with my feet. But no, I've missed a lot of chances this year, and I knew it was a matter of time before I scored one. And obviously, Bruno's out with the nice delivery, and hopefully there's many more to come from now to the end of the season.
Were there also a few heart-in-the-mouth moments tonight, particularly for you, with a potential red card for what looked, to be honest, like a kick-out at 0-0?
I can see why I felt like at the time. I know I caught him, but I felt like he was going to fall on me. My natural reaction was to straighten my leg to try and, if he was to fall on me, to hold him up, type of thing. Obviously, I've got studs on my boots, and it probably looks worse than it was on TV. But no, it was my natural reaction just to try and. It wasn't a kick out. It wasn't any intent or anything like that. It was just my natural reaction to straighten my leg, and if he was going to fall on me, just to hold him up really. And I knew I did catch him, and I knew at the time. But no, I think it's the right decision in the end.
So it sounds like it might have been quite a worrying moment while it was being reviewed for you.
Yeah, definitely, because I knew at the time I did catch him, but I knew at the time I didn't have no intent to hurt him or kick him. It was literally just a natural reaction to straighten my leg. It wasn't a kick. Obviously, I've got studs on the end of my boots, so it probably makes it a little bit worse. But no, I apologise to him, but no, it was nice that the referee seen sense.
Does this have to be the start of something? 'Cause it's a win that gets you right back into that fight for top four.
Yeah, well, this season we've been far too inconsistent. So you've seen we've won at Manchester City, we beat Chelsea at home, obviously pointing against Liverpool, but we've let ourselves down against the teams where the pressure's on to go and break them down. So next Sunday we've got Watford at home. We're not getting carried away because that's another massive game. We've got to treat that game as like we have done tonight, and we've got to go and get 3 points.
And well done to both of you. Bruno, fantastic English.
Not bad, but can be better.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, great English there
Fantastic.
from Bruno Fernandes. Well played, sir. OK, inescapable. We have to talk about that red card. And I do sympathise with Harry Maguire's view. It's all booting off in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Jackson will read them out. Joe?
I think it was a red card.
OK.
I know that his excuse is that he's trying to stop him falling on him, but his left leg was already there for that position to do. I think the right leg coming up is a kick out. I think Son got sent off for an extremely similar incident, and for me, red card.
OK. Albert, I feel like we know what your feelings are, but articulate them again, please, sir.
Yeah, no, it's just the fact that the way he fell, I'd understand if it was his left leg because it was already in the air. The fact that his other leg then came up and then a little kick out, even if it's small, like, there's a player in front of you. Like, the ref can see that stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't understand how you can see something like that. You're literally 5 yards from the screen. Just go check it out, bro. Just do something quickly.
There is a little kick out at the very end, and if it's not in such a sensitive area, if it's just the side of the leg, are we particularly bothered?
I don't know, actually. I think there's still going to be a decent. There's still going to be significant contact wherever it's going, because he's moving at quite a pace coming off the pitch as well. So I think for me, I believe Maguire in terms of I don't think the intent was there. Yeah. Don't see why it would be, and at least judging by his body language when he's doing that, although it's quite difficult, it doesn't look like he's to he's intentionally going to kick out.
It would be out of character.
But at the same time, it's still dangerous play, whichever way you look at it. So from that perspective, I could see why it would be a red card as well.
OK, David. I mean, we have seen, like Joe said, like Hobber said, Son sent off for a similar sort of scenario. What was your gut reaction?
I think it's a red card. When I first saw it, I thought it was probably the right decision, no red card, but I haven't seen it at half-time. I thought it was definitely red.
I think I'm the only one swaying towards no red. I can't help but think that was just him bracing himself for the guy to fall in.
You're thinking he's too nice.
Not dismissing anyone's argument, but that's just instinctive.
No, but realistically, you're not deep in. He just got bodied. No one can try to act like he's just like a nice guy like that. He just got bodied. He stuck his other leg up because he was angry he got bodied, and he should have got sent off. Can't be trying to play the nice guy in the interview. Now, obviously, he's got to say it, but at the same time...
Listen,
he put his other leg up when his other leg was already up.
Yeah,
that's unnatural.
He shouldn't escape on reputation. I completely agree with you. And there was that little exertion at the very end, which I think brings it into question. But I don't think it's quite violent enough. But OK, I can see why the referees were unclear on it. Let's have our last couple of questions. My opinion is the least valuable here. Let's have a couple of questions from the comments.
Question for Sam. They're asking, what's the one position you need to strengthen more than anything else from a Chelsea point of view?
Great
up top.
Striker?
Yeah, striker.
Is there anyone you think there would be a realistic option that you'd like to go and get?
I can't even lie and say there is someone, because everyone that I would want is linked with someone that's more powerful.
Odion?
Like, man, I would want Timo Werner, like, honestly.
Great
but
decision.
I just don't think he would come. And if he does come to England, I'd see him going to Liverpool. So it's a tough one. I would even take Ings. I can't even lie to you. Get Danny Ings in,
over
bro.
Tammy?
I love Tammy, but I've always said it, like, he's not...
Chelsea heads are going live on the street. He's demanding the sign of Ings.
No. I love Tammy, yeah, but he's not the striker we need for every game.
Hold on. So do you bring in someone to complement Tammy, or do you bring in someone to replace Tammy? What's going on here?
Someone to, like...
Compete
with him, yeah. I don't want him to be completely out the side, but
so on the same sort of first team level.
Yeah. Because and then whoever's banging him more, you do it that way. The same way City have Aguero and Jesus. Like, we need that. We need the competition back. We can't just have Tammy and then Mitchie and then Giroud just a little bit up top. Like, that shouldn't be it. We need Tammy and someone with him up here, so when he is injured, like, we're still confident. Or we can even play a false nine or something. That's not Mitchie, bro.
Wouldn't it work to, like, get someone who can maybe play out wide as well? Because then you at least have options to play them together.
I need a soul striker, someone that's hungry to get 50 goals in a year. No joke.
Okay.
Heads are going in
Timo.
Timo.
Jadon Sancho is almost going at that rate now in terms of goal contributions. Does he not just make your forward line, that much better? Does he? That is, you can't get service better than that at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely, but we just still need a striker.
Okay.
We just need...
Is still the one that's got to finish that cutback from Jadon.
Yeah.
He's still the guy who's got to be holding the ball up to bring Jadon into play. And I just don't think, like Sam said, Giroud and Batshuayi are good enough to do it.
But we're not living in a world where, we're living in a world where you make a signing with Tammy Abraham fit and in your team, right? I mean, tonight, Tammy Abraham changes that game, doesn't it? I don't think there's any doubt about that. Right, we've got time for one more question.
I guess it's to United fans. It's what's the one position you guys need to strengthen to get you guys back into the top four, guaranteed almost?
The Cubs?
Talking about it before, right wing. Yeah, the right wing position is I think should be top of the list this summer. Should have been near the top of the list at least last summer.
Joe, is Alexis Sanchez going to come back and make that impression that Ollie was talking about?
I think I agree, right wing, but central midfield as well, especially if we lose Pogba. If Pogba goes, central midfield has to be the priority for Man United. If we keep him, then right wing should be the priority.
If Pogba goes, are you signing someone of that level, or would you divide that money around?
I think if Pogba goes, you'll see two centre mids come into United to try and cover that output. One probably out of Jack Grealish and James Maddison, and then another slightly more defensively minded central midfielder to take the burden off Matic, because I think Matic has done a job, but if he wasn't required and McTominay hadn't picked up an injury, I think Matic probably would have left in the summer.
Okay.
In fact, he probably would have left in the winter if we weren't so injury prone. He was very close to joining Inter Milan, I think. So I would expect two centre mids to come in and a right winger.
Conte signing players exclusively over 30. You've got to love it. Lads, I've loved today's show. Thank you very much for coming down. Oba, wrong result, great debut.
Yeah.
Right on, Oba.
VAR wins in it, but it's all right. We move again. Next week, we move again.
He has the final words. And we are back next weekend with an absolutely huge football social. It's Chelsea versus Tottenham, 12 p.m. On Soccer AM and Football Daily's YouTube pages.
Massive!
Can Chelsea... Oh my God, I was laughing at Jackson there. Massive! Can Chelsea bounce back in the right possible way? Only time will tell. Will Jose get one over his old side? Tune in, find out. See you later.
Let's go! Let's go!
This is big chance. What a ball from Mason Mount. What's happened?
Oh dear!
Oh no! Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Ball was like Beckham.
Yes!
Hey, it's a push.
Wait,
it's a push.
wait.
I'm just going to VAR. I'm just going to VAR.
I think that's on the goal.
Celebrate Sam in the
This is
goal!
so anticlimactic.
Well, VAR's ruined it for him.
Talking about...
Oh, yes! Yes! Come on, Harry! Oh, no!
Go on, Harold! At the bridge again!
Right, lock the door. Lock the door.
At the bridge again!
I actually quite want Tottenham to finish 4th or 5th.
Why are you saying get out?
'Cause
You can get out as well.
Go!
No.
Kovacic!
Oh, what a tackle!
Harry!
He's back! He's back!
That ball again.
Yeah.
I'm in the mood for a third.
74 minutes, Dan James hasn't. He hasn't tired.
Come on! Good delivery!
Oh, but what's happening?
Get the ball! Yes, he's on! Yes!
No!
Come on!
That is ridiculous.
Miles offside!
This is mad.
Miles offside!
Oh my God.